All right, everybody. Meta Madness has started. Our first game, Teh89 versus the CrowingCocks. And well, we're starting here. Every ban that happens in this best of 5 is going to be valid for the entire series. And the teams are actually pretty fast. Illidan is out, and that means he's out for 5 maps, potentially, depending on the score, of course. As Sonya already banned as well. Pretty solid what's happening here. Teh89, of course, trying to aim for an Illidan here on Infernal Shrines. They banned the Sonya out, and the CrowingCocks, they immediately react and say like, hey, if Sonya's already gone, she's just such a good counter against Illidan, we are going to ban him out for sure. So we have Teh89 with Zul, who can then start the rotation between the two lanes, especially of course when the objective is active on the map. And we have Kel'Thas Tassadar as the immediate picks on the side of the CrowingCocks. So once again, just to reiterate, every single ban that will happen on this particular map, every hero that is banned here is also banned for map number 2, map number 3, map number 4, and map number 5. So we are going to head into a potential 5th map with 20 heroes banned, which is going to be pretty insane. So as the game progresses, as the series progresses, the drafts are probably going to become quite interesting here. That being said, though, for Teh89, the old Navi lineup, we have now on this map, first of all, Rhaegar. So Rhaegar being picked here as an early support already, and teams have already been thinking a little bit about how they can use these new rules. And a lot of the teams have been saying, like, you know what, we are going to focus on banning maybe like all of the supports out early on. We're going to try and ban the tanks, something along those lines. Because you can imagine that if a team actually starts to focus in the first 2-3 maps on banning out supports, then all of a sudden, going into map number 4, map number 5, you're going to end up in a situation where basically no supports are left. That could happen here. So rules for drafting are a bit different, maybe not so much on the first map, but later on. Thank you very much for the sub here, by the way. Unfortunately, the screen overlay doesn't really work the way that it's intended to, but Guru, thank you very much for the subscription, for the support here. We're going to have a look into that and try to fix that later. For now, though, when it comes to the picks, we have Teh89. And also Vulcan, thank you for the sub as well. We have Teh89 with a Grey main. So that's already a little bit interesting. They don't really have any range damage in that sense at this point. We're going into the second ban phase now for the team, but Teh89 already with a nice rotation happening with Zul while the objective is up. We have a good support on their end with Rhaegar. They have Greymane also for the damage, but nothing really too fancy with the range damage. Greymane, of course, is a bit of a hybrid, but usually these days you try to play him a little bit more in walk-in form, and he really wants to just like jump in and take targets down. They don't have a tank yet, though, and that means that we could actually see something on the side of the CrowingCocks banning that out, and that's exactly what they do. They ban Muradin. He suffered a little bit in Hero League, but if you look at the competitive scene, then Muradin is still one of those tanks that gives you a lot of value. He has great stuns, he has great survivability, and that's really important for a lot of the teams there. It's still interesting, though, that they ban Muradin. There's a couple of options that they have. Maybe they're trying to go into an ETC here. Muradin's stun, of course, quite annoying for any kind of like hero that is trying to get a channel ultimate through, so that might be one of the things. And Teh89, they could react with a ban on ETC, but they ban out a Diablo, which is, of course, a very common hero on this map in particular, since you can control the choke points around those shrines quite well. They actually, they lock it in. And let's see how the CrowingCocks are actually going to proceed from here on out. There's still a Thrall out there that they could use if they want to like use Tassadar with a second support to be just like this enabler for the front line. So that's one of the things that they could definitely pull off here. Other heroes that we oftentimes see on this map in particular are, for example, Stitches. But with an Anubarak already being highlighted here by the CrowingCocks, it becomes a little bit unlikely that Stitches is going to be used here. But Anubarak is, of course, absolutely amazing when it comes to diving the backline. And he has also, with the Beetles, a huge presence on the shrines as is. It's a bit of a question how exactly they're going to play it. The meta shifts a little bit more towards the double tank these days, but we have seen Anubarak played as a solo tank, especially if you have 2 healers behind him. Then, of course, the build has to be adjusted slightly. But if you play him with another tank, then you have a bit more freedom when it comes to like the damage talents that he definitely offers. So the CrowingCocks already trying to stack at least a little bit of CC. When it comes to area damage, they're already looking very strong. Not only with the Tassadar, but also with the Kel'Thas. Sarah, thank you very much for the resub. Once again, sorry that the overlay is not working here. I'm going to fix that for the next game. But as you see here, double AoE damage already. Tassadar, Kel'Thas. They pick Falstad here, which is, of course, when it comes to sustained damage, also a great tool here. Great hero for that. And I'm a little bit curious to see what's going to be their last pick, because I guess in theory you could still run that Tassadar solo. They have a lot of heroes that have actually self-sustained. Thinking about the Anubarak, who could go for the Leeching Scarabs. We have Falstad with hammer gains on level 4, but it's a bit more likely that the CrowingCocks are actually going to add another healer here. That's at least what you would expect. For Teh89, the ex-Navi squad on the other hand, they still need a frontliner right now. And let's see how they're actually what they're going to use here. In this case, I mean, ETC is still around, and there are a couple of interrupts, though. I'm not really sure if ETC would be the best option here, considering that we have a false set with Mighty Gust and Nuburak with potential Cocoon, depending on the last pick, the stuns that he has per se, then also Kalthas with the Gravity Lapse, and Teh89 goes for Sylvanas here. Alright, so we have a huge push potential on their side. I mean, think about it. They have a Zul and they run Sylvanas in the same draft right now. That is so much wave clear that they already have with this, and also, of course, pressure with the Punisher as is if they're able to use that.
Can you change this lovely voice to a men voice? Have fun in Stockholm, D.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah, a little bit of Brightwing action here too. But we actually see they go for ETC anyways. I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest. With Mighty Gust, with the Nuburak stuns, with Kalthas Gravity Lapse, going for the ETC here might be a bit risky on their part. There's a lot of other tanks that they could have used. Talking Johanna, for example, might have been a good option here for them. But overall, ETC, of course, still incredibly strong. Their only problem will be that it's a little bit tough to really get that mosh pit through. So it's not going to be easy for the frontliner to really get a good ultimate here through. For the CrowingCocks, on the other hand, are they really going to run the Tassadar solo? I kind of doubt it a bit, but if they run another frontliner, that might help them here as well. Then again, Tassadar as the only shield against the heroes that they're facing here would be a little bit annoying for them, especially when Greymane starts to jump in. That shield might just not enough to save a hero in the last second. So yeah, Infernal Shrines here, let's see, what do the CrowingCocks choose as their last hero? If they go into a support, they have a couple of options here. Could even add a Brightwing with Tassadar to make sure that they have another interrupt against ETC if they're really afraid of that mosh pit.
Your loyalty is noted.
Devil Tamer, thank you very much for this up, my friend. Cheers for that. Sounds have been switched a little bit. Leoric, actually, the guy whose voice we just heard, might be a hero that we see again today. Haven't really seen him in a bit. And they go for the second tag. They go for Arthas here. Alright. Tassadar only support for the CrowingCocks and Arthas Anubura combo that we're seeing on the first map. And well, guys, without further ado, let's jump right into Infernal Shrines. Map number 1 here at Meta Madness, our first show match between Teh89 and the CrowingCocks. Game number 1, everybody, has started, and well, things are happening here. Meta Madness, game number 1, Infernal Shrines. And to the left side of the map, we have Teh89 in this best of 5 series. They're going up against the CrowingCocks. Two actually like very strong teams here, and you can already see that BKB here on ETC, Zarmany on Greymane, Eternal on Sylvanas, Remabola on Zul, and Gran Paquete on Rhaegar. This is a pretty good team, but if you actually watch all of the games on YouTube, you've probably seen the CrowingCocks a couple of times as well, and these boys, they are actually putting in a lot of effort to piss the top teams off these days. Sphyxion's false stat. We have Lunan as the only support on Tassadar, Zelia on Kalthas, we have Celium on Anubarak, and Mopsio is playing Arthas for the team here. And well, let's see how that's going to work out. For now, we actually see to have a bit of a tower snipe at the bottom going on, with Sylvanas not really a big issue, but as there's an immediate reaction happening on the side of the red team, they don't even go for it. It's of course awesome if you in the early game can snipe a tower with Sylvanas, just simply move in and burst it down and your opponent doesn't really catch you. But if you already realize that your opponent is able to catch up with that, then you're better off just like moving away, since you could lose a hero or two and that would leave you in a bit of an awkward spot there. At this point, one of the things that we have to highlight is, of course, that false stat is already going straight for Season Marksman. Going to keep close eyes and close tabs on what exactly is going to go on with that. Normally at the top lane, we have a 1 versus 1 situation, and Zarmany and Sphyxi are currently set up against each other. But Mopsio is already waiting and trying to go for a bit of a gank. But Zarmany is playing this super careful right now. He's really just like trying to stay back as much as he can, since he realizes that there are a few heroes missing on the map, and he doesn't want to risk anything. So pretty smart on his part. When we're talking, oh, Mopsio is actually about to move in, and Mopsio went for the Eternal Hunger. One of the things that I want to highlight real quickly, since it's a bit of a different build that we're now seeing on Arthas, and he's actually taking over the top lane at this point. In the middle of the map, on the other hand, it's just all about the wave clear, and let's keep that Zul in mind that we've been talking about earlier. Look at that Zul and Sylvanas, as expected in the draft already. They are really putting in some work now to make sure that they can turn these structures down. And the crucial thing is really going to be that once that we have the shrines active on the map, Zul is going to start his rotations between the 2 remaining lanes and will just try to give his team an experience advantage. Sphyxi is probably going to be the one who's trying to counteract that, since he's also able to fly into the shrine fight if need be. But that's definitely one of the things that we have to watch out for a little bit. Interestingly enough, though, we have the shrine active in the middle of the map. That means now that, of course, it's going to be a little bit tougher for Zul to make that rotation happen. He's still going to try and move to the bot lane, where we currently only see false stats. So bit more experience already on the side of the CrowingCocks. That means that they will hit the level 4 just a tiny bit faster. And Uberrock on level 1 went straight into the Dampen Magic, of course, as you would expect. We're seeing Wolf Heart and Paralysis taken, whereas Rhaegar is going into something that is very common these days, going for the Wolf talent here, speed first of all, but we've seen Rhaegar's players actually going for a complete Wolf. Oh, the lockdown and the kill! ETC is down. That's not the start that they were hoping for. Teh89 loses control over the Shrine as Fixie starts to move in. We see at the top Greymane already soaking the lane, going for the experience here. And at this point now, on level 4, we have Eyes in the Dark for Greymane, meaning that he will have stealth after the disengage. We're seeing With the Wind taken, and we have Jailers. So a couple of adjustments already with the builds on the side of Teh89. The Mortar Punisher is of course taken by the red team, who went into Hammer Gains on Falstad. We have the Legion of Beetles taken for Nubarak, and now it's time to bait the Punisher behind the wall. And that's exactly what they're doing here. Punisher jumps in, and that's exactly of course what you need to do in every single game that you play. Eternal actually is getting a little bit more than he bargained for here. And wow, Eternal nearly dying. That Punisher means business. If you've ever played Diablo 3, then you know that these Mortar guys can be pretty annoying if you play a ranged character. And that is one of the things that happened there. Zarmany in the meantime with the kill against Arthur as the Lich King is down, taken down by the Wolf. Not bad. A little bit unexpected though, so a pretty sweet kill here for them. And that of course ties it up in terms of kills at least. A 1-1 situation now. Bot lane, Sphyxie still soaking here. Hammer Gain's going to be a great talent for him, especially with the Leeching Plasma that we're currently seeing on the side of Tassadar. Not really a big surprise to see that talent actually, considering that he's the only support for the team right now. At this point, we are also having, again, both of the teams heading into level 7, and Teh89 is actually slightly faster right now. So a little bit faster than their opponent with a particular level. We're seeing them in this case now also on the side of, well, Quicksilver Bullets first of all for Greymane. Bit of a pressure play at the bot lane, trying to maybe isolate someone here. Cleanse being chosen, not a bad choice considering that we currently have a lot of heroes on the side of the CrowingCocks that could use the stun. Especially if you plan on still landing that mosh pit with ETC, and having a pre-cleanse ready could actually help you in a lot of these situations to at least get some value out of it. The Barb Shot is going to be very useful not only for the wave clear, but also when we're talking about the minions then, or about like the Punisher. It's going to help quite a bit. Secret Weapon, Kala's Embrace, and that's a huge spike right now that we have for Tassadar. That's actually like a really important talent that he just took. If he doesn't go into Kala's Embrace on level 7, then as a support, especially as a solo support, he's more or less useless. I can't even remember the last time that I've seen a Tassadar player that did not go into Kala's Embrace, to be quite honest with you. Leeching Scarabs and Immortal Coil after the Death Lord have been chosen now. So a lot of talents actually that give the heroes also survivability, which is more or less a must if you think about it. You're running a Tassadar as a solo support, which we don't really have that often anymore in the meta, but when it happens then you need to make sure that the rest of your lineup has at least some self-sustain, or you're going to run in a lot of trouble in the later stages. So now with the level 7 talent that we're seeing here, we have also the next shrine up on the map, and this is like the moment where at least the blue team is starting to have a bit of an impact here. And if they get the Punisher, then Sylvanas is going to play a massive, massive role here, of course. At the bottom of the map, on the other hand, Remaballer activating his Shade, getting away. Lunan and Sphyxie were trying to pressure him a bit. And there's also still a Khaldor camp that is currently trying to push through the middle. But as expected, Zul is trying to rotate between the mid and the bot lane for experience, and Falstad is attempting to match that. Now Falstad does of course not have the same wave clear as Zul, but he can still try and do his best here, and if he sees a chance he can always fly to the top and help out with a potential kill here. Eternal already jumping away. Falstad, as expected, is now flying in, trying to get some damage in, and that's exactly what he does. They might get the kill against Greymane here. Nice stun, and Greymane goes down. 24 against 5 minion stacks right now. But Teh89 are very close to level 10. So are the CrowingCocks though. And Zul rotated top, but he's a bit late. That's of course one of the problems that he has compared to Falstad. The bird is just a little bit too fast with these rotations. Having that global is always putting the other team under a lot of pressure in these situations. So now once again, level 10. Faster by the way for the CrowingCocks, just by a bit. But we have in this case now the Army of the Dead taken, the Locust Swarm for Anubarak. We're seeing Tassadar so far without a choice. Mighty Gust, on the other hand, has been chosen, and there's the Force Wall for Tassadar. Force fields are completely broken in StarCraft 2, and in Heroes of the Storm, the Force Wall is also not really making a change there. Besides that, when we're looking at Teh89, they have the expected talents to be taken here as well. Mosh Pit for ETC, he likes to rock. And we have the Poison Nova, Wailing Arrow. We could have seen here, of course, also the Skeletal Mages, but Poison Nova it is. And we have actually like quite a few frontliners. 2 frontliners already. If you can walk a little bit closer in, then you might even hit a 3rd or a 4th hero with that. Not too bad for Zul in this case. Zul, by the way, still doing his thing. Always active on the map right now, trying to push back, and it reflects in his siege damage. 69,000 siege damage. That's easily the top siege damage in the entire game, and for good reason. Already a bit of a skirmish here happening in the middle on the other hand, and that forces 2 more heroes to join in. Zalia on his Kel'Thas and Sphyxie on Falstad attempting to move in now as well. When it comes to hero damage, you can already tell that there's not really too much happening just yet in terms of big fights. 2 kills against 1, a couple of pickoffs on the map, but nothing really too crazy happened just yet, so they're still waiting for it. 22 extra damage, by the way, on the side of Falstad. So he's working pretty fast, actually, towards his season marksman. 8 minutes into the game and he's already halfway done, and that really just happens because he's working on both lanes so far, or always on 2 lanes at least, and then the additional kills, of course, in his presence, they definitely help as well. Already the attempt to go for ETC again, but the stun this time is a bit too slow. BKB is able to slide out of this one. In the meantime, camps are taken on the map, and that's actually like the first time really the teams are starting to work on camps. We had 1 in the mid lane a bit earlier, we have now 1 Khaldor camp taken down at the bottom, but for example the hard camps so far, the shaman camps, they have been more or less completely ignored. Mobsio is still in position here, they're trying to steal 1 away, and there's actually not enough around from the side of their opponent to really deal with that. So that's definitely an issue. Another camp already taken, and that starts to create a lot of pressure against Teh89. Now keep in mind, this is a best of 5 series here, of course, and it's only the first map, but the rules for this entire setup are very, very different. With heroes banned for the entire series and not only for a map, there could be a lot of crazy strategies coming in later on. And especially the hero pool of these players is going to matter a lot. If it comes to a 5th map, it's going to play a huge role. It's going to be very important that you have players that have a huge variety of heroes to play, or you will find yourself in a lot of trouble. Now the first map is still going to be pretty much straightforward, and that's what we're seeing here as is. Already Giant Killer for Falstad. Tacita with the Prescience. We have the Pyromaniac taken, and the Trail of Frost. One of the standard talents actually these days for Arthas. Both of the teams now on level 13 with the Windrunner taken by Sylvanas. And well, right now it's time for another Punisher. And it looks like both of the teams are completely willing to fight for it and really commit to the Shrine. Keep in mind that at the same time there's still a big camp pushing the top lane. That's a huge problem for the CrowingCocks. That's great timing here for Teh89. The old Na'Vi squad really knows how to play this map right now. But the problem is they're running into a lockdown on Greymane again, and that's the kill for the CrowingCocks. Immediately Zul using the Poison Nova, trying to maybe get a counter kill, but already BKB in a bit of trouble. And Riverballer is taken down on his Greymane. The ancestral healing of Grandpa Kette hits a moment too late. Unfortunate for them, and that's 4 kills against 1 now in favor of the CrowingCocks. So right now they have another Punisher, and that's starting to become a bit of a problem for Teh89. The entire strategy that they have here is based largely also on the hopes of getting a Punisher with Sylvanas. That's of course the big deal. If you can make that happen, Sylvanas will help you to get massive, massive value out of it, since you can just simply push in with Sylvanas and make sure that the Punisher is getting max value in structures. But that's not really happening. They didn't get a single objective yet, and Eternal is extremely low and goes down. If Eternal taken down, and that's 5 kills against 1 now. The Punisher rushing in, trying to get another kill. Doesn't help that it's an Arcane Punisher on top of it. What a great wall being used here on the side of Luna, and Trump would be proud. And down goes ETC as well. Very well done. Great isolation here. BKB trying to escape. Not able to do it though. And now we're having the wall completely broken down. And that opens up the push for a potential keep early on in the game. Very well played here. Pretty cool. So right now, let's see, we have level 16s ready, and that is a massive lead now for the CrowingCocks. I mean, at that point, we are seeing them already with Falstad going to the Afterburner, which has actually become very, very popular these days on Falstad. I'm absolutely loving it. It's a great talent. It's a great build that we're seeing here. The auto attacks on Falstad, they do solid damage, and this is one of the things that we are going to see a lot more often. Besides that, we're seeing Sun King's Fury now. We have, of course, at the same time also Blood for Blood being used here. And we're seeing the Remorseless Winter. So you're trying to get as much lockdown as you possibly can. The Trail of Frost at level 13 is already helping with that a lot. And Arthas has been able to deliver throughout the entire game here thus far. The problem still for the blue team is that they need experience, and they are trying to work on that by just taking down at least one of those forts, and they do exactly that. So the fort is already down. That means a bit of extra experience. They're half a level away from level 16, and the only thing that really matters at this point is that they don't die. They need to make sure that they are not picked up on the map, and they need to make sure that they get level 16 before we're heading into the next objective. That's going to be incredibly important. So right now we have BKB and his boys starting to move to the bottom. Level 16 is just around the corner, another wave, and they are set. And in the meantime, we had everybody else rotating to the top for the red team to make sure that they not only get another camp, but at the same time they had to de-push the lane as is as well. So now level 16, about to be hit. They're trying to set up a trap. I'm not quite sure if they should fight now. They have level 16 though, but they didn't pick the talents just yet. They could any moment. ETC with the mosh pit. Great mosh pit. The kill against the Nubarak. Oh my god, they get a double kill. And Nubarak and Arthurs are both down. They didn't even use level 16. They invade the camp. They get it. ETC gets the mosh pit off. No interrupts. That was perfect. And the timing couldn't be any better. Not only do they get the camp, 30 more seconds until we are seeing those two back to business. And up at the top lane, they can now de-push first of all the Shaman camp, but then they can go straight for that trunk. Incredibly well done here. And besides that, we're seeing now also for Sylvanas a bit more damage thanks to Remorseless. Very important, of course, for her to get a bit more damage. And she's one of the main range damage dealer. Greymane going for more of a Worgen build right now with the Relentless Predator, and also taking very smart talent considering the amount of CC that we're seeing for the opponent. We're seeing amplified damage as well, and the Earthgrasp Totem now for Rhaegar. You can tell that the CrowingCocks, they're not even bothering going up to the shrine. They already know that there's absolutely no way for them to do anything about it. Fawcett, by the way, completed also Seasoned Marksman. He's now on 40 extra stacks and can activate the talent to get a little bit more damage in. Especially, of course, with that auto attack advantage that he's going to get thanks to it. So that's going to be pretty huge. But up at the top, the Frozen Punish now starting to jump in. And this is really where Sylvanas has to make a move. I'm very surprised that we're actually seeing Sylvanas rotating into the mid lane at this point. I did not expect that at all. I really think that might be a bit of a misplay here. It seems like they are just attempting to go through the mid fort and that they don't want to fight. So the thought process here seems to be that they are just like letting the Punisher push the top, pressure the mid lane, get an experience lead over the opponent, and dodge fights. And that could actually work for them, but the CrowingCocks are actually in a situation where they simply say, well, you know what, the Punisher is not going to do too much here, we're going to let that thing go, and we are going to face you in the middle. Not sure if that's going to work out in the end for them, because the Punisher already destroyed the first tower, is working at the gate, jumping in against Falstad, and we still have the pressure play at the bottom. But normally, like traditionally, you would try to use Sylvanas with a Punisher. Right now, there's still a play. Nice! Eternal jumping away again with the second wave. Well done here with the Windrunner. You can definitely make that work. Already trying, of course, to get a little bit more value. Punisher has been baited into the middle where he is going to fall eventually. But both of the teams are still trying to get to level 20 first so that they get the Storm Talents. It's still the red team, though, that has a slight advantage here. And I'm absolutely loving the series here already for a very simple reason. It just shows that right now in Europe we have a couple of teams that can really just like play on a high level. The Teh89 as the ex-Navi squad is of course a huge favorite going into a series like this, even with roster changes. But BKB of course is a huge improvement also to the squad that they have here. He's just an amazing player. And at this point right now, with how Mopsio and his boys are doing, this is going to be a pretty close series. Mosh pit attempt by BKB, and he goes down! Zul with the poison over, and level 20, nearly reached. There's the second kill, this time against Zul. Rhaegar is about to fall. Fawcett dies, but Greymane is blown up as well. Only Eternal survives. He's trying to get away. Celio might be able to dive, though. He's trying to go for the stun, but Eternal dodges it. Level 20 has been hit, though. And that's a massive problem now since the middle is already attacked. The keep, the wall was opened early on, and this now is an opportunity to go for keep. They might go for core here. They might try, but they are lacking Falstad, and that's a huge amount of damage. Zelia is low, so is Lunan. I'm not sure if a core attempt would really be the smart choice here. Depends a bit on the Internal. If he can get a kill, that would be great. They're all very, very low. Nice dodge on the stun. He's moving in. He's trying to get the damage in. Once again, the lockdown, though. Eternal is down, and now the core is wide open. ETC back in another 3 seconds, but we are already seeing the hit points running down to 50. ETC is there, is trying to go in, but he just doesn't have the damage to take these boys down. Zul is also back, but it's too late. That's game GG. And CrowingCocks, they take game number 1 against Teh89. Job well done, well played. And we're going to head straight into map number 2. Game number 2, everybody. We have a 1-0 lead already for the CrowingCocks, but we have
Your
a bit of a change
loyalty
here.
is noted.
First of all, Codexus, thank you very much for the sub, but guys, there we are. Already banned 4 heroes. Diablo, Illidan, Sonya, and Muradin are banned out of the tournament. And that opens up a very interesting part now for game number 2. Already Kel'Thas is banned. That means we're going to see that Pyromaniac never again in this series. Zul is banned out as well. And we see a Johanna as the first pick on the side of the CrowingCocks. This is really where things are starting to get real. Game number 3 is going to be a pleasure as well, of course, because starting with game 3, we're already going to have 8 heroes banned, so I'm very curious to see what they're going to draft right now. The fact alone that Muradin, Diablo, and Sonya are gone is pretty huge. That's a lot of tanks that are already banned out here, and we could actually see even more being banned in this case now. The teams, as I said before, have been thinking a lot about how could we get a bit of advantage of our opponent. Do we ban supports? Do we ban maybe the tanks? In this case, we have a Zagara played for Teh89. They're trying to rock that bottom lane here on Tomb of the Spider Queen in particular. Heroes that have pushing power are, of course, incredibly strong here. And this is one of the things that we're going to see in this game now. Sylvanas was played in the last game. Could make a reappearance here as well.
Sweet
But,
Tommy Khaldor, love your work, keep it up.
Thank you very much for the nation, dude. Cheers, man. And yeah, Rhaegar is being picked right now. I'm actually a little bit surprised that Rhaegar didn't get banned out.
Noted.
Pablo Master, thank you very much for the sub too. And a Thrall. So if you think about it, going into this, I kind of expected that teams would try to ban supports out a little bit. But I also believe that this is one of the reasons why we actually see supports being picked
Your
this early.
loyalty is noted.
Wow, guys. Seriously, thank you a lot. Support is real right now. Aranot, thank you very much for the sub, bro. So a Thrall is being used. Johanna and Thrall already together. I mean, normally when we would see something like this, I would say, okay, Thrall on one side, Sonya on the other. That doesn't work anymore. So now we have Thrall empowered by a Tassadar, potentially, played by the CrowingCocks. And Teh89, they don't have any of the usual responses to this. Usually when you are seeing a Thrall, you immediately pick a Sonya, or you just, like, try at least to make something happen along those lines. Matahon TV, thank you very much for the resub. And yeah, let's see how we're going. We have 2 more bands coming in. Let's see who that's going to be. 2 more heroes that we're not going to see anymore in this entire series. And I'm curious what they're banning out right now. You can imagine that the teams are, of course, now also like looking at their sheets and okay, which heroes were already banned in the first round. So this is getting a little bit tricky for them at some point as well. I actually like try to at least theorize a draft that could happen in game 5. And believe me, I've been looking a lot at what was going on there. They ban Asmodan, and that's actually a very smart thing to do, since Teh89 is one of the teams that loves to play Asmodan and Tomb of the Spider Queen. They know how strong the hero can be, and that's why they ban him out, to make sure that the CrowingCocks are not going to give them a taste of their own medicine. Henry, thank you very much for the support, my friend. Anubarak also banned. No more Beatles for us. The exterminators have finally arrived, and we aren't seeing Anubarak again anymore. Keep in mind, that is another frontliner that has just been banned out. So definitely the frontliner setup is already getting a little bit thin at this point. But well, with this particular setup, Teh89 is in a situation where they still need a frontliner. They could need a bit more damage. They don't have any choice to go into like a Thrall, a Sonya, and Illidan, anything along these lines. So they have to come up with a different solution. Interestingly enough, we haven't seen Li Ming yet. She could be played on this map. She's great for interrupting purposes. And for poke damage, she's actually like really solid. Arthur's first of all being played. And the one thing that I'm still waiting for, to be honest with you, is an Arthur's with either Lunara or Vala to be played. Any hero that can either rely on the unfair advantage on 13 or go straight into something like Execution on 16 would be amazing with Arthur's. Greymin, of course, in this case, could already fit a similar role. He has definitely options here that he could choose. But for now, we're having him with decent wave clear on the map as well. Tomb of the Spider Queen is all about the wave clear, as we of course know. So that's going to be an important part. Li Ming, as mentioned just a few seconds ago, is great on this map. She would be a very good pickup for the CrowingCocks. I would still expect the second support to be played by them. They were kind of successful with the Tassadar solo on the first map, but I'm not quite sure if against the setup that we're seeing for Teh89 here, and especially on this map, a Tassadar solo is going to do the trick. With a Thrall, I mean, he has a self-sustain, but normally you want to empower him with a double support. Johanna has self-sustain as well. They could play without a double support, to be honest. They could. I would still expect the second one. With Thrall in particular, you want the War Chief to really go deep. Greed Jesus, he wants to go full ham. And if you want to really make sure that he can do that, a double support would be solid. Charism is still out there. We have actually no support has been globally banned just yet, so all of the supports are still available. You could go Tyrande here if you wanted to. Tassadar, Tyrande are a very good combo. You can try and snipe heroes a little bit heavier. Tyrande offers at least a little bit of healing. She has also, of course, the stun at the start. Thrall can capitalize on that. Li Ming can capitalize on that. So there's a lot that they can do with this. ML Furion. Now, we have seen some crazy shit, guys. We have seen, I think it was actually on Infernal Shrines, we have seen stuff like Earthquake and also Twilight Dream, which is actually becoming a little bit more popular these days. It's not like the standard talent to pick yet or anything, but we have seen a couple of Twilight Dreams being played not only in competitive, but a lot in scrims as well. But for now, the CrowingCocks are saying, hey, wait, Malfurion, we can come back to that guy later. For now, Charism is still around, so let's take this guy. Let's take the Monk here first. First of all, he has an amazing hairstyle, and so we need to add that to our lineup here. But also, he works quite well with Johanna and with Thrall. I like the setup. It's a really cool setup that we're seeing here for them. Teh89, on the other hand, let's see what they are up to. They have a good healer. They can actually like play maybe with a. Do we have any kind of like bruiser type warrior that they could play? Zero Watts, thanks for the sub, my friend. Kerrigan, I love it. Old school. Arthur's Kerrigan, hell yeah. Come on, boys, bring her in. Bring her in. Come on, my queen. I'm ready. Zagara and Kerrigan. We have two Zerg queens if they actually go for it. But she would be a very good choice, actually. She would be really solid, considering that a Nuborak is already out, that you don't have a Sonya available, you don't have an Illidan. There's like so many heroes that would really fit here, but a lot of them are either taken away or they are already banned out. So right now, playing a Kerrigan would be a pretty smart option. You have very good lockdown with Arthurs. You can use Kerrigan for the stuns, and they go for it. I'm loving it. A Kerrigan is being played. I really like it. And guys, with that, we're going to go into game number 2. Tomb of the Spider Queen, to find out if the CrowingCocks are going to take the second map as well, or if Teh89 is turning things around. Ties up the series into a 1-1 before we are heading into a third map in this best of 5. So yeah, let's jump in right away. Tomb of the Spider Queen. Game number 2 at Meta Madness. We have, first of all, a Kerrigan here. To the left side, it is Teh89, the ex-Navi squad, with a BKB on Arthurs, Eternal on Kerrigan, Remaball on Greymane, Zarmony on Zagara, and Gran Paquete on Rhaegar. To the right side of the map, Sphyxie on Thrall, one of the remaining bruisers at the front line. Celium on Tassadar, Zelia on Li Ming this time. Mobster is playing the front line, of course. He's playing Johanna in this game, and we have Luna on Charism. So yeah, game number 2. It's gonna be fun. Like, these drafts are really making my day right now, even though we only have the second map. But just imagine if this goes to a 5th map, what we are going to see here. Things are going to become crazy. Already double block taken, one on the side of Thrall, the War Chief, Green Jesus, immediately with a block against the auto attacks. And we see the same happening for Arthurs as well. The Lich King isn't stupid. He knows fully well that he's going to take a lot of heat at the front line. And he wants to make sure that he can withstand all of it. Kerrigan, of course, going straight into the Ravage build with a siphoning impact on her part now. We're having for actually Power Hungry taken here on the side of Li Ming. And besides that, we're seeing Rhaegar with the Lightning Bond here, trying to, of course, get a little bit more area of effect damage out there to just make sure that the wave clear is going to be real for the boys. Zagara is taking her spot at the bot lane, Thrall as well, so pretty much what you would expect actually with the lineup. But the one thing that's going to be crucial is the roaming ability on the side of the blue team. They are the ones trying to roam, and there we go, double stun already. They're trying to go for Charism. Luna dashes away, gets jumped, and Greymane gets the kill. Well done here. The wolf is hungry. Woo! And they get another one as well, taking down Johanna too. That is the strength of the lineup that we're seeing here right now. Kerrigan early on such a map is absolutely amazing, and especially if you have Arthurs for additional lockdown that she can capitalize on, then she's going to be great. And guess who's just sitting there waiting for... Oh my god, the kill against Li Ming, beautiful. Who's just waiting there for an opportunity? It's of course always Greymane. He's trying to jump in, he's trying to just like take these boys down whenever he has a chance, and he just like goes in for the finishing blow. And right now the wolf there, he is hungry. Remaballer is already there. They have currently 3 kills against 0. And I mean, they're supposed to dominate the rotation, don't get me wrong. I mean, at this point in time, this is really what their setup is supposed to do. They're supposed to dominate the earlier rotations, and it is the job of the CrowingCocks to make sure that they're not suffering too many deaths here and don't lose out on too much experience. That's going to be incredibly important. So, as long as they can make that happen and start towards level 10, there's still like a lot of room for them where they can win it. But look at this, the lockdown once, twice, Celia jumps away, gets attacked, and Remaball is there. The Wolf is going for it once again and takes them down. Well played here. Yeah, this is getting a bit brutal. The draft is looking very good for Teh89. At the bot lane, by the way, we haven't really talked about it, but Zagara, as you can already see, is doing a very solid job against Thrall. Sphyxy is doing what he can, he's spamming that Chain Lightning, but now as Zarmany already has the Envenomed Spines on his hero, he can use that as well. Lunan taken down as well! 5 kills against 0! Kerrigan, why don't we see you more often, my queen? Like, unfortunately, we have her usually not as part of the meta. We see her every now and then. I mean, she's not like she's never played, but still. So once again, Arthur's there, Kerrigan, by the way, nearly dying. But Eternal is just showcasing once again what a great melee assassin he is. Eternal was actually like one of the players. Do you remember back in the days when we actually had Haunted Mines still in the map pool and we saw on Haunted Mines, like basically Arthurs and Kerrigan every single game, most of the time even banned out because they were so strong together? That was really when Eternal was playing a lot of Kerrigan and he was a beast on the hero. And you can already tell that he kind of remembers how to play her. We're having him on with a clean kill on level 4. We see Kerrigan every now and then, of course, still, especially in the Korean meta where in Infernal Shrines, she's occasionally played together with a Diablo, for example. But right now, Deathlord has been taken as a level 4 Talon on Arthurs. We're seeing the Lightning already claimed on the side of Thrall. They have a bit more lane sustain, and he desperately needs that against a hero like Zagara. But with level 6.5 against level 5, nearly 6, we are still in a situation in which the rotation and also therefore the turn-ins points are completely controlled by the blue team. And they're trying to aim for the first weapon, of course. Once again, the eyes in the dark on the side of Greymane. We're having also a Triumph Ray taken for Li Ming, so she's going, at least for now, for a bit of an AWP build. AWP builds overall are incredibly popular, or were popular for a long time. It's basically like a bit of a toss-up, but especially North America really likes to play them every now and then. It depends a bit on the map though, but it can do a lot of damage, whereas in most other regions, if you need more wave clear, then Calamity is of course a great talent take on level 7. There's by now a couple of builds on Li Ming that you can take, always depending on the scenario that you're facing. With Swarm Momentum already taken on the side of Kerrigan, and Greymane with a Wizened Duelist, so a bit of a change actually here for him. So he's going for a very cool build here, I'm liking it. So basically, it's like a gathering power that you get on Greymane, and of course you lose those stacks once that you die. But the thing is, with how they are currently playing the hero and running these rotations, they are in a very good scenario. If they can get a couple of kills in and Greymane can really capitalize on it, he will have insane damage. And he's very tricky to take down on the side of the CrowingCocks now, because he's always guarded by Kerrigan and Arthur. And that's the turn and attempt already. There we have it. Blue Web Weavers descending first. We're also seeing now a Calamity taken. We have the Crusade marches on, taken on the side of Johanna, as Mopsio realizes that he's going to be in a lot of trouble against this front line that we're seeing on the opponent's side. But this is going to be pretty crucial. If this Web Weaver wave goes well for Teh89, they are very likely to spiral this maybe a bit out of control even, since they could get very close to level 10, and once they hit their heroic abilities before the opponent does, it's going to be very difficult for the red team to turn in before we see the second turn in for Teh89. And if that happens, things can go crazy on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So at this point already, both of the teams are just like trying to capitalize. Well, the blue team is trying to capitalize on the Web Weavers. The red team is desperately trying to push them away. But with so much aggression against the heroes, they're seeing Teh89 in a great position. And they are amazing on this map. They have showcased in the past already a lot. That was also part because Ethereal Angel was still part of the setup. But you can tell that they are still very good. They're nice stun against Thrall. They're trying to go jump in. Lunan is dashing after him, trying to heal the War Chief here. Already the Hydra taken down, but the Web Weavers with the damage. Level 9 versus level 8 up at the top. The Web Weavers are still busy. Down to the bottom of the map, we are still seeing pressure against Lunan and Sphyxy. They're both jumping away. Arthurs moves in. BKB with the root, but they can't capitalize on it. Eternal at the cooldowns, not ready just yet. And once again, we're seeing everybody just like rotating away. But look at that experience pool. Level 10 any second now, and there it is. And with level 10 now taken, there should be no way for the red team to get a turn in. So we are seeing not only, of course, Maelstrom, we have Go for the Throat, Devouring Maw, Ancestral Healing, and the Army of the Dead for Arthurs. Not really a shocker to see the army taken here. He is the only frontliner for his team, so they need to do that. But they have 59 gems, and that's an easy turn-in for them. They're an entire level ahead, and they have already their heroic abilities. That's a double Web Weaver wave that the red team has to deal with right now. they are definitely going to fall back behind a little bit in this scenario at this point. And that's going to be, there could be potentially a disaster for them. So already, blue web weavers are descending again. Ethan is always waiting. Like, his Kerrigan is always in position. He's always like lurking at the edges of the screen, just waiting for an opportunity to jump in. If BKB gets a decent Howling Blast out, then Kerrigan is going to be there. And again, Ethan is just like waiting at the edge. And they know it. I mean, the CrowingCocks, they are fully aware of the situation. They are super passive right now. They're trying to wait for as long as they can so that they can finally just get level 10 and then maybe defend against this. And now there it is. Sundering has been taken. We have the Palm. We have also Force Wall, Blessed Shield, and Li Ming should go. She is going for the Disintegrate here. But Lunan palms himself and tries to go deep. That was maybe a little bit of an early palm. Monks are always fond of using palm on themselves, but still, that one was maybe a bit too fast on the trigger finger here. So for now, they have to rotate away from this particular point. It was a bit unfortunate for Lunan that he was actually the one caught out there, because, well, if anything else, he could just stay in the back a little bit more, but right now they at least were able to defend the top web weaver wave. 5 kills still on the side of Teh89. They're doing really well here so far. And while at the bottom of the map, we're still seeing a web weaver wave pushing through. And if you compare a little bit the structural advantage, or like the structures overall on the map right now, you will realize pretty quickly that we don't have a single fort left, well, with the exception of the one up at the top. So if they can push this one down, and they have a 5 versus 4 situation going for them for a little bit longer, then they will have destroyed the entire front line of buildings. The important thing about it is that it's really also the distance to safety that you increase for your opponent. They have a much further bigger way to travel from the turn-in points back to where they are finally safe. And that is a huge problem. So, lockdown! Not working out just yet. Keep in mind that also Greyman did not get a single stack for his Wizen Duelist just yet. Here comes the Ancestral on BKB, used very early. They don't want to risk to lose one here. They don't want to deny the turn-in. There's 160 gems on the side of their opponent, and they are trying to get all of them. They might be able to chase them down here. BKB is waiting for the cooldown. Howling Blast, not successful. Sphyxie was already going for the defensive Sundering here. And that was really needed. If they get caught, if the CrowingCocks actually lose like 1 or 2 heroes and they can't recover the gems, then they are in a lot of trouble. They have 2 turn-ins easily already available to them, but they need to get to the turn-in spot. And with level 13 just so close for Teh89, things are starting to get very grim for them, because the third web weaver wave is something that they might not be able to survive without losing the first key. And that is a big problem. For now, they're still attempting it though. Wopsio alone has 43 gems. And believe me, he wants to turn them in. But BKB is already there and he's like, no you don't. But they need more heroes up here to the top. Kerrigan has taken the bottom camp in the meantime and needs to make her way up to the top now. But the red team is able to get the turn in. A bit unfortunate for Teh89 since they were so close to level 13. With a little bit more patience, with maybe Kerrigan just not going for the camp, but trying to defend up at the top as well. They might have been able to prevent it. But as is, they're seeing the first web weaver wave for the red team. Level 13, on the other hand, is an advantage that Teh89 is definitely going to be able to run in this case. And they have Mutalisk, we're seeing them with the Earth Shield, also the Unfettered Assault, which is pretty cool if you are just like going deep, and you have quite a huge range, which also helps with escape, of course. Talking range, Viscerate is being used here, and the Frigid wins now as well, to make sure that especially, of course, Thrall is not going to get too much done here. It's not only great against Thrall on the other hand, it's also pretty sweet against a hero like Harrison. So if you go for that attack speed reduction, that can actually do very well against the setup that the CrowingCocks are running right now. The pressure play currently at the bot lane, going through the wall at least, but you can already tell on the minimap that all of the web weavers, except for the one at the bot lane, have been eliminated as is. And well, that was a wave that did not do too much just yet. It bought them, I would say, like a little bit of like lane clear, but that's already about it. So they get a bit of breathing space and time where they can finally work towards level 13, but they didn't really accomplish much more than that. And I mean, they couldn't. What are you going to do? You're not going to try and risk a fight with level 13 versus level 10 talents. If you do that, then you might as well just like surrender right now. But for now, at least, we are seeing them with an attempt to turn in here. Sphyxie is being hit though, can't complete it. He alone has enough to just go easily for the turn. Death Coil being used here. They are once again on the spot. By now, we have also level 13 talents for both of these teams. Here's the web weaver wave, the second one in a row. Well done by the CrowingCocks. This is really the one that matters. This web weaver wave is the one where they have to make an impact. If they don't do anything with this, if they don't kill a couple of structures, a fort at least, then they are going to run into trouble. But they are still only a level behind. I mean, it could be way worse. They still have a fort at the top lane. They didn't lose a key. And in experience, they are actually catching up. So right now, lockdown against Mopsio up at the top. With level 13 talents, we have now also Illusionist and Giant Killer taken. It's going to be important as well. Relentless, Johanna going straight for the burning rage. Make sure she has a little bit more AoE damage too. And everybody else is jumping at the top fort for now. Web Weavers in the middle, also pretty busy to go for the structures, but the bot lane will not really do anything in that regard. It's just going to de-push the lane a little bit and buy them some space, but that's about it. But for now at the top, they really need to make a fight happen. And there's the Maelstrom already on Kerrigan. She's starting to go in. Here's the lockdown. More being used against two. Healer included. Spixie with the Sunder. Great heal on Eternal, making sure that he does not get killed there. But the fight is still raging on. Remaballer wants to go for Mopsio. Is about to get the kill. The palm being used. Not triggered though. Oh, Thrall is down and Remaballer jumps in but gets hit by Li Ming and nearly falls here. Mopsio and his team, they're retreating again. 6 kills against 0 at this point. And down to the bottom of the map we are seeing at the same time now already. The Web Weaver is still getting some value, more than I thought. I mean, the Web Weaver at least took the fort down. They are once again a level behind. Once more, it's just like one level. And as you can tell, we have at least for now Wizened Duelist 1 takedown, so additional 3% damage on the side of Great. They were probably hoping for a little bit more. I mean, early on in the game, they got 5 kills for 5-0 very fast. And I feel when Greymane made the choice to go into the Wizened Duelist, he really thought they would be able to pick up a few more kills and give him an advantage there. But as is, he's at least getting some stacks right now. So Remaballer in the last fight, not dying there. That was pretty important. They're working on it. Blue Web Weavers are descending right now. And when it comes to damage, I mean, we still see him on 31,000 damage. So that's pretty close to Li Ming and also to Zagara, who are currently taking the top. But an early level 16 would, of course, be pretty amazing here for them. Once again, we have Web Weavers descending, and this time it's the blue team that's actually pushed far behind or far back. The problem is still that level 16 talent is going to hit soon enough. And that's really going to be a big thing. So right now, there is Zagara. She's down, and that's a big kill for the CrowingCocks. That's a great kill for them. If they get if they get Arthas as well, Luna, he wants to kill, but he doesn't get it. So close. BKB nearly falling. Web Weavers are being defended against. Level 16 is ready for Teh89, but it's still a 5 versus 4, so it's tricky for them to make something happen here. Everybody is rotating again. Kerrigan, by the way, with the Essence for Essence, basically her variation of Blood for Blood that we're seeing here for her. And on level 16 now, we're also seeing the Death Call being used again. Eternal wants to go for Mopsio. Embrace Death is being used here, but Mopsio is low, gets palmed, and this time it triggers. They're still trying to fight it here. Remaballer needs to be careful, but dodges Li Ming's shots and moves away. Top Web Weaver has been defended against here at the bottom. Same is happening, level 16 now for both of the teams. Once again, we're seeing the CrowingCocks getting very, very close. They are actually in structures nearly on the same level like their opponent. They lost a few more towers, and they lost also up at the top lane a bit of damage, but still, overall, that isn't too shabby, boys. Considering how the game was going so far, they are actually looking at a pretty sweet job there. Getting the kill against Zagara was, of course, absolutely crucial. I mean, if they don't make that happen, then it's going to be a massive problem. They could not get the kill against BKB, but still, making that a 4 versus 5 was already a big win. Mopsio low once again. There's no Palm ready, and he is down. Palm was still in cooldown. There comes the Sundering, a bit too late. Maw doesn't hit anything. They were trying to make a play here, but they couldn't really. 16 versus 16 in talents, and Teh89 is still looking strong. 6 additional damage by now on the side of Remaballer with his Greymane, thanks to the Wizened Duelist on level 7. So he has 2 stacks at this point. He's already moving straight to the bottom to put them to some decent use. And when we're talking damage, then we have by now Greymane also in the lead. 42,000. The only hero that's a bit stronger at this point is Zelia on his Li Ming. But he already died 2 times in this game right now. We are still talking about a double support setup here on the side of the CrowingCocks against the solo Rhaegar for Teh89. But when it comes to healing, 46,000 healing for Rhaegar is actually not too shabby. It's definitely on the level of Karazim here. But of course, those extra shields on Tassadar should give the team in red a bit more sustain during these fights. And it's one of the things that we definitely have to watch out for in the next battle. Going into level 20 right now, that would be pretty brutal. That would be a lot of Storm Shields that we're seeing here. And once that the Bolt of the Storm on Thrall comes into play, and a couple of other talents here, especially Indestructible on Johanna, it would probably be pretty rough for Teh89 to really take these boys down, because that is a very sustainable setup that they have here. We of course have a couple of like great talents coming in on 20 for Teh89 as well, but overall, Karrigan, especially in the early game, a bit of a beast. She can be strong in the late game too, but against all this survivability, it is definitely going to be a bit tricky. Mopsio, of course, once again trying to shield. 75 gems against 25. Only the red team has a turn-in ready. And they are trying to get it. They are trying to get it, but Celium is getting locked down and he's interrupted with a turn-in here. So for now, we are also seeing the bot lane still another camp pushing in, and this time it is actually starting to threaten a keep. And that's a bit of a problem. That's why Sphyxy is immediately there trying to deal with it. But that also means that they have to give up the middle for a moment. And that's an opportunity that the blue team took immediately. They turn in, they don't have enough gems yet, but they got rid of all of the gems that they were holding. Thrall is still at the bottom. Arthas is moving in. They're trying to get the kill, and they might actually. Lunan dashes away, and with a dimensional shift, Celium is able to get out too. Sphyxy is now going in though, and BKB might have overextended there a little bit. Nah, he's not locked down by the wolf though. So right now we are once again seeing everybody just like dancing around the turn-in point already. Thrall is trying to join up. We have all of the heroic abilities ready for both of the teams right now. Level 18 versus, well, basically 18. Only a few experience points, and then we will see the CrowingCocks also on the next level. But the turn-in here at the bottom could be completed. Eternal, they are only 5 away. They are only 5 away from getting another turn-in as well. And here comes Celio once more with 30. He's trying to make it work. Lunan is there too, down to the bottom. Thrall, the only one who's currently trying to deal with Remaballer and Eternal. Uh-oh, here comes the lockdown, and goodbye, Thrall. Sphyxy down, 5 versus 4. They were trying to guard both of the turn points, but with a nice rotation to the bottom, Eternal was able to take down Thrall, and that's now 5 versus 4 situation. Great scenario here for them. They're already in a situation where they are trying to get another Web Weaver wave, and this time they are gonna go for keep. They are definitely going for the keep here right now. We're already seeing Mopsio, Lunan, and Celium at this point going for another camp. So at least they try to get some kind of wave play in the middle. But Boss is being attacked on the side of the blue team already. Eternal is there, and with Thrall down, the chances of them really invading this are very, very small. Even with BKB being low, they can't move in, and they won't. The Boss is going to move in, and at the same time, the Web Weavers are going to descend. Guys, this is going to be brutal. This is going to be brutal for the red team. They have to somehow defend, and this is not going to be easy. This is going to be a disaster for them. Because not only are they going to lose the fort at the top, I mean, that's given, but they will most likely also lose the keep. The question is, how far can Teh89 really push this? They have Web Weavers at the bottom, they have Web Weavers in the middle. Granted, they have to go up against the hard camp, against the bruiser camp, but this push at the top lane is going to be brutal. And it's already happening right here. Already Lunan, everybody else is there. They're trying to go for the boss. There comes the Maw. Mopsio is low. Mopsio is down. They don't have 20. 20 is going to hit any second right now for the blue team, and he does a double kill. This could be game even. Boss and Web Weavers are moving through at the bot lane, and Web Weaver is going for keep number 2 as we speak. Double Bolt of the Storm. Arthur's going for the anti-magic shell. Once again, the lockdown, this time against Tassadar. He gets away, but the boss is still alive. The Web Weavers are pushing through on 2 lanes in the mid lane. They are also threatening keep, and this could well be game at this point. They're going in 5 extra stacks on Greymane. That's 15% extra damage for him, and it really shows. They try to equalize the score. They take down Thrall, and nothing can stop Teh89 now. They will take game number 2, tie the series in the best of 5, and we have a 1-1 before we are heading into game number 3 at the Meta Madness. Great job by Teh89. Let's jump straight into the 3rd map of the best of 5. The game is starting, and ladies and gentlemen, we have the next map ready. And in this case, it is Sky Temple. It's a 1-1 situation right now. So you can tell up at the top, there's our banned heroes. We have 8 heroes banned already. Asmodan, Zul, Diablo is banned. Illidan, Sonya are banned. We have a ban on Muradin. And Kel'Thas plus Anubarak are banned. Now we're going into the bans right now, and you can already tell the teams are taking a little bit longer here, because they're currently looking at all those heroes that are being presented in front of them, like, alright, so what's banned already? And the support bans are happening. Charism is banned out. Alright, how are the CrowingCocks reacting to this? I'm absolutely loving this right now, and I cannot wait to see what the teams are doing here. We have at least 4 maps. I mean, the score is 1-1, so we at least have 4 maps, and they ban Rhaegar. You already know what that means. Supports are starting to thin out a little bit. I mean, we still have a lot of supports around. This is like the first time that we actually see bans on supports, but still, this is pretty awesome. So, with this being said, we have Teh89 now with the first pick. And guys, these are the moments when I don't have any idea what's going on. I would actually think a Thrall might be a good option here. A Thrall or a Tassadar. Considering that so many supports are banned out, Tassadar might be a smart option. But then again, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I could have seen a Thrall here, though. I could have seen a Thrall. Thank you very much for the support, Florian. Cheers, man. Come on, lock it in. Lock him in. Okay, I would expect the Thrall. Like, there's of course also, I mean, you could in this case go for an early false set, I suppose. Clown Shoe, thank you very much for the resub as well. I guess an early false set would make sense. But Thrall, think about it. There's the false set. I'm going to go for the Thrall. No, they're going to go for Greymane. But it's actually interesting because this has to be a Thrall. I mean, that has to be Thrall for Teh89. Like, hands down. If you have a Tassadar already, you know that Sonya is not going to become an issue. You know that there's like stuns are starting to thin out a little bit. Thrall seems like a very solid option. It at the same time gives you a bot laner as well. So that would be a very great setup here for them too. Teh89, how are they going to... I'm really curious to see what's happening right now, but I would expect Thrall to be taken. I really feel with all of the heroes that we have globally banned already, that would be a very, very solid ban for... solid pick for them right now. Could combo it with another, probably range damage. A Li Ming, I would like a Li Ming. Thrall Li Ming, that's something that I would really like. ETC, alright. Maybe they want to run him with a stage dive here, considering that false stat is on the in the other team already. So that would give him some options. Don't have to, depends a bit on the
worthy tribute minion.
Love this idea for tournament, man. Great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you.
Thank you very, very much. So yeah, Leoric wants to have a say apparently in this as well, but so far he hasn't been picked. There's the Thrall that I wanted. Together with an ETC, Thrall ETC, cool combo.
Your loyalty is noted.
And thanks Matt Commons for the sub as well. Cheers, man. Alright, so let's see. Bans, again, important, because that's global bans that we're talking here. This show is not called Meta Madness is called Meta Madness for a reason. It's not called Meta Madness for nothing. So, let's see what they're gonna do here. What do you ban in this case? Do you really ban Tyrande? Either you pick or you ban Tyrande, right? I mean, you're going up against an ETC.
Your loyalty is noted.
Gecko, cheers for the sub, my friend. You go up against an ETC, and your opponent already has a Tassadar. That has to be a Tyrande ban. Or Li Ming. Or you ban Li Ming. Range damage. Uther. Oh, boys. Karazim, Uther, and Rhaegar are banned for the next...
Thank you kindly.
What?
Just want to support more stuff like this. Keep
Thanks,
it up,
Dave.
Khaldor.
Cheers, man. Thanks, Dave. But, like, if they lock the Morales down, that would mean we have 4 supports banned in the 3rd map already. That leaves Lily, Malfurion, Tyrande, Tassadar for the next games. Brightwing. Yeah, that would thin out the supports really quickly. Alright, I'm liking this format more and more. The Uther ban still surprises me a little bit. I really feel like a Tyrande ban or a Li Ming ban would have given them more. I kind of expect them to maybe even take Tyrande themselves. Alright, no Morales. They go for Johanna instead. There's the Tyrande. That's why they didn't ban her. They already planned on picking her themselves. That makes sense. Yeah, I could have not understood it at all if they would have decided against banning Tyrande, considering that there's a Thrall ETC with a Tassadar on the other side. So yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense right now. I like it. Okay, so cool. With that being set up, we have them with another pick. Front line would be important. I mean, let's think about it, which tanks are still available. They could play a Stitches.
A worthy tribute minion.
Here's some money, you crazy German.
Thanks for that. Who was that? Is that Diablo, actually? Was that Leoric? I think that's the Diablo quote. Thanks, Wacky. Alright. Back to business. Stitches, maybe. Stitches Tyrande. You could play that. I mean, you could actually do that. Tyrande Brightwing. Okay. I can live with that. Double global already. They have a double global. They have interrupts against ETC. I can deal with that. Meaning that they don't have a front line yet. But they could pick an Arthur's still. Arthur, Stitches. There's a couple of choices depending on how Teh89 picks now. But we have Teh89. They need to play Li Ming, right? I mean, we are on Sky Temple. This is a map where Li Ming actually shines. She's really good on the map. They need to do something with her. And I would expect them...
You are not prepared!
Sup bitches. Narcast is a shit compared to this.
Great nickname. That was a good one, dude. Lily! My girl is here. She's looking for adventure. Tacita Lily is being played. Alright, when was the last time you've seen that comp, huh? When was the last time you've seen that? And there is Li Ming. Okay, I like the Li Ming. The Li Ming, they had to go for it. They had to go for the Li Ming. I mean, you have to. Okay, let's see. What's going to be the last pick? What's going to be the frontliner? Arthur, Stitches. What else did I forget? Terry, thanks, bro. Cheers. Like, come on. Arthur, Stitches. What are we going to see here? What else is left? Let me think about that real quick. We have Muradin already taken away. Diablo is already banned out. Anubarak is banned out. Johanna is banned. ETC is taken. Dehaka? Another global? Really? Nah, it's Arthur's. Alright, it's Lich King again. Guys, Sky Temple, and things are happening. Things are definitely happening here. I'm hyped for this one, and keep in mind we have at least 4 maps in the series, since the series is tied right now. So let's jump into game number 3 and find out which team is going to take it here on Sky Temple. Game number 3, everybody, and we have a 1-1, and well, the drafts are getting crazy. To the left side, Teh89, BKB on ETC, Remaball on Tacita, Zamani on Li Ming, Eternal on Thrall, and Gran Paquete on Lily. And to the right side of the map, we have Lunan on Brightwing, Zelia on Falstad, Mopsio on Arthurs, Celium is playing Tyrande, and Sphyxie is playing Greymane. So, well, we have Lily already looking for adventure here in the 3rd game, and things are starting to get quite interesting here. So at this point, let's see how exactly this is going to work out. We have, as the level 1 talent on the side of Brightwing in a double support role, Hypershift already taken here. And besides that, Mopsio really wants to go for the kill here. Eternal is going down. Eternal dead, and that is first blood on the side of the CrowingCocks this time. So yeah, already a pretty fun setup that they are running here. It's really interesting to see that Tyrande and Brightwing combo. And I mean, considering what we saw as bans in the game, it's actually kind of likely that we are running out of supports on the 4th or on maybe even the 5th map. If teams are starting to ban out supports even more often, that's definitely going to be one of the things that could happen here. So at this point, let's see once again. We have apparently Celium under a little pressure by BKB. Not quite. It's the Owl in there. Falstad, by the way, going for Season Marksman again, and Lily already at the bot lane here, going for the Serpent build. We have a double support role as well, currently playing together with Tacita here. Timeless Creature on the level 1 slot, and let's see how exactly this is going to work out at the bot lane there. So far, Lunan, of course, positioned here because he can just simply, with this global, start to jump into the temple fights once they start happening, so that's going to be a pretty important part as well. And the global abilities are definitely going to be a huge deal in this game. Not only Brightwing, but also Falstad on the side of the CrowingCocks. You can definitely see how they are trying to run this. They will always try to get maximum utility out of those two. We have Arthurs with block on level 1. Tyrande is going for an Owl build. Besides that, we are seeing now also block used for Thrall. Basically, ever since Blizzard made block stronger, it's one of the best talents that you can get on level 1. Already before it was pretty good and situationally picked, but right now it's just incredibly strong, especially if your opponent runs a lot of auto attackers. So for now, it's once again Shrines being fought over. Brightwing is not jumping into the middle yet. Both of the teams aiming for level 4. And Mopsio is still trying to claim the shots here for his team. Arthurs, of course, has a huge presence on these maps. He's incredibly strong with this, and his survivability is super awesome, especially if you have double support. That's going to be very cool for the team fights then later on. Level 4 is hitting, and Arthur's actually going already for the increased damage on the Frozen Tempest. So it's really all about having that position on the map here. This is one of the maps where you usually see Muradin being picked very often, since he has very nice survivability on those shrines and can easily on the temples and can easily take them themselves. But of course he was one of the first bans that we saw in this series, and that's why Muradin is not even being considered here anymore, since the teams don't have access to him any longer. Hammer gains are taken, and Thick Skin over the Eyes in the Dark, which have been taken so far, quite a lot actually on Greymane. A very popular talent these days. And Li Ming with the Triumvirate taken as the level 4 talent. Once again, a bit of damage as Mopsio starting to try and move in. They attempt to lock down in a BKB. That didn't work out, but Remabola is once more attacked and goes down. Mopsio is about to escape. Zarmany, just a bit too close. Could have maybe taken down Mopsio if he gets the double combo off and hits the orb as well, but he didn't even shoot it out. I guess it was not off cooldown, so in this case it's another kill on the side of the CrowingCocks. They get their 2-0 in kills at least. When it comes to the situation on the map, we have a slight advantage coming into experience for the red team, so they're doing pretty well with that, heading into an earlier level 7 talent. But one of the things that really matters, of course, is the next temple phase, where we have a temple at the bottom of the map, and usually both of the teams are going to try and fight for this one. The camps are taken around this time, and both of the teams are very well aware of that. This is why the red team actually invades the blue camp with everyone that they have down here. The exception is Greymane at the top. Nice steal on the camp. Really well done. They can still claim their own, of course. Thrall, by the way, on level 4 went into Venom, which is going to help him with early game pressure as well. Especially for that second temple. This is going to make a pretty big difference, actually. Same time, Immortal Coil is being taken once again. Self-sustain, really important here. Quicksilver bullets, and we're having, of course, the face shield on Brightwing. So it's pretty curious to see how exactly this combo is going to work out for them here. Tyrande is going to get a lot of cooldown reduction, especially with her on level 4 going for Pierce. Thanks to the Empower here, she's going to get a lot of that. And we have the teams just aiming again for the camps. We're having at the same time Calamity, a little bit of Wave Clan limbing, never really hurts. And besides that, the power spike on the side of the blue team, thanks of course to the level 7 on Tassadar. It's such an important talent. They're running Lily with a full Serpent build here, with Mending Serpent and with a Lightning Serpent. But overall, having that Tassadar there with a level 7 and also with the Legion Plasma on level 4 is going to be super important for them, obviously. So right now, both of the teams going for the camp. It's a little bit of a it has calmed down a bit. In the early game, we had a couple of small fights, a few brawls every now and then with 2 kills on the side of the CrowingCocks. But right now, it's basically just both of them getting ready for the next temple phase, and that has been announced now. I really liked the invasion onto the camp of the blue team earlier. That was actually pretty cool. It was well done by the CrowingCocks. They're trying to maybe get a pressure at the wall at least, but it doesn't really seem like they are going to get that out for now. For now, let's see how they're going to run that now. BKB is already there. Zarmany is moving in. Everybody is running down to the board. The only exception is Tassadar. I was actually not really bothered to move down here. Falstad is here as well. So in terms of experience, Falstad's still sticking it out in the mid lane. Looks like the blue team is not going to do anything about this. Here comes the lockdown against ETC. Oh my god, BKB barely getting away as we have Sphyxy on his Greymane dashing in and trying to eliminate him. Experience lead for the red team now, and they are looking very strong with this. We're already having them getting one shot after another fired against the structures of the blue team, eliminating the well, which takes the sustain away from the blue team and makes them rotate into the middle immediately. Falstad flying up to the top to soak the wave, and that brings them closer. Hits actually level 10 for them. They're having Starfall now used. We're seeing once again the Army of the Dead being used for Arthas, and at the same time go for the throat and the blink heal for Brightwing. The pressure play down at the bottom is also still ongoing, but we have both of the teams now with their heroic abilities, since finally we are seeing the blue team also hitting their 10. And for Lily, it is the Water Dragon. Woo! Water Dragon, baby! With Sundering, Disintegrate, the Force Wall, and the Mosh Pit on good old ETC. Now, once again, it could have been a choice to go into Stage Dive here. Considering that we're talking about Sky Temple, Stage Dive is never a bad option, especially if you're running against 2 global heroes. It's oftentimes a very solid choice, but they are still trying to capitalize on a good Mosh Pit. And if BKB hits a decent one here, they can definitely make a good fight happen, or at least get a kill before it gets interrupted. But there's of course a couple of things that can still interrupt it, Polymorph being one of them. We have the stuns on Tyrande, and we have also the Mighty Gust on the side of Falstad, which can be a thing. Again, the camp gets invaded, but this time the blue team is fighting for it. Where are these ults? There comes the Starfall, the kill against Mopsio. He is down, even the double support not able to keep him alive, but they get the camp at least. And Zarmany goes down, and Sphyxy is going ham right now. The kill against Brightwing, though, takes the support away. Here comes the Mosh Pit. The damage is real, and down goes Greymane. Zelia with the attempt to at least drop BKB, but it is Tyrande instead that falls. Eternal is attempt to get Zelia. It's actually shooting into the small gap over here because he thought that maybe Falstad is going to try and hide here. But overall, 4 heroes killed. Very well done by Teh89. That kind of brought him back a little bit. Up to this point, we really saw the red team in a slight lead, but this particular fight right now definitely ending in favor of Teh89. The camp got stolen away, but they get a couple of kills as a result, and I mean, they're very happy with that, I would assume. We're seeing a great mosh pit, by the way, also on the side of BKB. It was really well done. A very late one. They waited for the kill against Brightwing before they really used it, but at that point, there was very little that the red team could actually do about it. So great fight here on their part. Once again, we're seeing, this time actually temples being split. We have one temple currently in the middle of the map, we're having another one at the bottom, and both of the teams are basically just going for a trade. But they aim for level 13, of course. And already an attempt, oh, Zelia, I was actually expecting him, nice. Alright, I wasn't really expecting him to use the Mighty Gust, try to gust them into the fort, instead they just simply snipe Liming here. That works too. Sphyxy is there, and with a 5 versus 4, they're attempting to steal the shots away. They also have the earlier level 13, and that gives us now, again, Giant Killer. We have the Shield Dust also taken for Brightwing. Lily is already on her way down to the bottom of the map. And let's see how exactly this is going to end for the red team. Are they able to get 2 of these temples right now? Gran Paquete is there. Lily might be in a bit of trouble. Lily, she was only looking for adventure, but she found a lot more than that. She found a lot of friends. And Gran Paquete is rooted down and taken apart. Great rotation here. In the meantime, False had actually soaked all of the shots in the mid lane. Both of the teams are now finally on level 13. But even with a shrink ray, there was of course no hope for Lily to get away in this situation. Illusion is taken, Face Melt, and we have the Giant Killer for Thrall in this case. If he of course goes for his Wind Fury on 16, then he will apply that 3 times to the front line, in this case Arthur's. We're seeing also on 13 now the Frigid Winds taken, so already a bit of a focus on the Frozen Tempest here with the level 4 and level 13 talent, Overflowing Light and Running Wild, and camps taken all over the place again. So, after we saw originally the CrowingCocks going a little bit ahead, we had this amazing team fight with a quad kill basically for Teh89 that brought them into the lead. But these 2 temples that had just now been soaked definitely brought the red team back into business, and they are now in a very comfortable situation. First of all, they are in a very amazing spot when it comes to the structural situation on the map, and they also have a lead in experience. Nice, Zelia with a good reaction. BKB was just waiting for a quick flank there, and they're able to make that work. So, yeah, pretty well done. At the same time, Rema Baller, BKB, and Eternal, they are once again waiting in the bush. Celium is there, Mopsio is about to move in, Water Dragon is hitting, and it's hitting hard, but Brightwing jumps in for the shield. Here comes the Mosh Pit against Tyrande. She has the move, she's dancing, but the Cocks go hard, they go straight for Liming, take her down, well done. They lose Falset on the other hand, that's a bit of an issue. Maybe a quick flank happening here. 16 is so close for them, and they hit the talent, so maybe they have a chance to make a move with the extra talent now and force a fight onto the opponent. Doesn't really look like it. Lily is actually finding another friend in the Scarab here and is taking quite a few hits here. Nice lockdown attempt against Tassadar, but he's immediately shifting away, so job well done. As expected on 16, we are having Afterburner taken for Falstead. We have the Greater Polymorph now too, and we see the Remorseless Winter taken as well. And the red team really, I mean, they're really taking a liking to this camp, don't they? This is like the 3rd time that they steal it away. Makes sense, of course, with the map presence that they have, thanks to the level 16 talent that is already on their part. So that's definitely working. But in the meantime, we're having the boss. Well, that is interesting. They go for boss because of the talent lead that they have right now. The problem is that there is a lot around. Thrall is the only one missing. This could be a pretty tough fight here. At the same time, there's also Mighty Gust up. They can use that, and we don't have a cleanse, so they should be able to get it. And yes, they take the boss away. Job well done. Once again, we have Zelia and Sphyxy just like going through the mid lane, bursting a few of the waves away. Bot lane pressure is real, of course. I mean, not only the Siege Giant camp, but also we're seeing the boss starting to move in. And, well, BKB is waiting for an early fight. He is there. He doesn't have the cooldown on the Mosh Pit, though. Great wall being used, isolating at least those 2 Siege Giants for a moment. But the boss is still splitting them. Here comes the Water Dragon. They're trying to jump in once again. The boss is still doing solid work. The attack against Sphyxy on his Greymane. BKB, 5 more seconds, and he has his cooldown ready. But once more, here comes Sphyxy trying to get away with his Greymane. Gran Paquete is about to take him down, and that's the 2nd kill since Tyrande died too. Mopsio is attempting to somehow escape here, but the Force Wall is stopping him. Great play by Teh89. They go for Mopsio, and can they deliver the kill? Here comes Harmony. No, Lunan is ready with the cooldowns. Again, the lockdown attempt. Lunan is on the run. Mopsio is attempting to turn it around even. At the top lane, we see a fight between ETC and Zelia. I'm not sure if BKB can win this. I'm actually pretty sure he can't. He realizes that too. It's maybe a bit too late. Zelia could have gone for the kill, I suppose, but he was a bit afraid here and said, hey, I want to soak the shots instead. I like it, actually. Not risking too much. I mean, you could have tried to pursue the kill here. Not quite sure about his cooldowns. Maybe he just said, okay, this is getting a little bit too nasty. If someone moves in, then I'm dead. And instead, he just, like, moved away there. So Zelia doing solid work at the top, securing a few shots that already delivered one keep. So that was actually, like, well done. I mean, considering that all of this started with basically a double kill against the CrowingCocks, that was a very, very solid situation for them then still. In kills, the two teams are incredibly close, by the way. 7 kills against 6 right now, and we're still seeing small fights on the map. Once again, Falstad flying in. Here comes the mosh pit. Nice gust being used. Selim is actually alive. Was about to die here, even with Venom being used by Infernal. Mopsio is rushing away, uses his old Army of the Dead, trying to keep him alive here. Nice starfall from Celium. They're going for BKB, and the cow is down. Once again, the wolf is moving in, trying to get another kill here, attempting to jump in, but a very good force ward. It's not stopping him for long, though. Sphinxie is still attempting to forget. Oh, and down they go. No, they actually take him down. No, it's Brightwing. Brightwing dies. Mopsio at the front. What a turnaround in a 5 versus 4. They get the kill against Brightwing. They get the kill against the Lich King. What a play here by Teh89. I am loving it. They lose the cow, they rush away, and it's nearly another double kill for Greymane. But then he has to escape, and they get their shots in. The problem is, it's a second keep that has fallen in the meantime. That's the big problem here. Those two Siege Giants, they are the real heroes of that last battle. And it's still an experience lead for the CrowingCocks. So that's really a big deal right now, because even with the kills that Teh89 is able to pick up, they just can't really get ahead. They have lost 2 keeps already. Two of those lanes are pushing very hard against them, which is a massive deal now, of course. And at the same time, we're having shrines or temples up on the map. Arthas is still down for another 6 seconds, so they will at least get a bit of a lead when it comes to the shots here. And that's exactly what's going to happen right now. So this is already getting a little bit crazy here. When it comes to damage, Li Ming, by the way, with 33,000 looking very solid. Falstad has a 28k. And well, the fight in the middle is happening, and level 20 is very, very close. Falstad has not completed his season marksman just yet. He's incredibly close, but he hasn't done it yet. Zelia is currently at 37 extra damage. BKB invading the temple as is. And we have both of the teams closing in on level 20. Storm Talons are going to be important. Bit of a wraparound here. What are they actually trying to do? Are they trying to fake a hit against the core? A bit of a backdoor and trying to catch someone? It looks a bit like it. They give up one of the temples. They basically say, hey, we're so far ahead in structures anyways, we don't have to go for it. They steal a camp away instead. Wait for 20. There it is already. For both teams, actually. Both teams have their 20. And that means we have the Epic Mount already taken. We see 2 Storm Shields. Arthas is going straight for the Death's Advance. That's interesting. Super speed. Down goes Falstad, though. That's a bad start. And what a mosh pit. Oh my god, baby. It's real. Mosh pit is there. It's a double kill, and they can get the kill against Mopsio now as well. Oh boy. What a fight. The camp is still pushing at the bottom, but they are trying to go for the kill right now, of course. They were so far behind the entire time. It was actually the red team that was making the plays here. But now they go through the wall. They don't even bother with the gate. They say, screw the gate. Let's take that keep and go for core. And they have the time to do it. Brightwing is trying to get the damage in somehow. I just don't think that it's enough. Yeah, there's catapults. Yeah, there's Siege Giant. But it doesn't look like it's going to be enough to really withstand the pressure of these heroes there. 85% on the core. It's getting a little bit lower, but look at that race. Easily won by Teh89. What a turnaround in last fight. Great games that we actually have here. Very well done. GG, and Teh89 takes the 3rd game. 2-1 in the best of 5 series right now, and we are going to head into the 4th game in a moment. Cursed Hollow is map number 4. We have a lead currently for Teh89 against the Cocks. So, yeah, a 2-1 going into the 4th map. And Cursed Hollow is the map. And by now, as you can see, we have a lot of heroes that are already banned out. So for the teams, this is not going to be easy. Especially since the support bans were real. And it just continues with the ban on Tacita. Things are going to be shaken up. Supports are going to become a rare commodity here.
Tribute minion.
That's so entertaining. Thank you so much to have organized that tournament.
Thank you very much, dude. Teh89, what are they going to ban right now? I'm a little bit curious.
You are not prepared.
Thank you very much, Molse.
And the Cocks go hard, but
They did.
Li Ming sends them floppy.
That's maybe taking it a step too far, but yeah. So Teh89, they are already going into the time pool, and it's a false stat ban on their end. Okay, so they were probably thinking about banning out a support here too. Decided against it, and now what's going to be the first pick? We have a Thrall still around. I want to highlight it once again. You can't run him anymore with a Tacita here. Tacita is already gone. He's going to be gone for the count. Quakeeper, thanks for the sub. But we still have a pretty interesting situation. It's a Grey main, alright. First of all, a Grey main. Like, Li Ming is a pick that has to happen on this map. Like, it has to happen. You have no other option than that. Teh89, what are they going to start with, though? Keep in mind, healers are very rare now. And it wouldn't surprise me if both of the teams would try to pick in healer in the early rotation, because we still have another ban wave coming.
Thank you kindly.
And that's going to be...
Hi,
Listen,
Khaldor.
dude, thank you.
This an awesome idea. Also, thanks for all the great stuff you do and for introducing me to esports back with Iron Squid.
Wow, Iron Squid. Woo, old school, my friend. StarCraft 2, I like it. There is our support to run the ETC. Oh, of course, to run on Cursed Hollow, amazing. I mean, let's not forget that she can also interrupt tribute channels. She's going to be great for this. We see an Abathur. Oh, Grey main Abathur. Dirty already. And, well, I guess he's a bit of a semi-support, right? I mean, at least you get the shield in, depending on how exactly you talent him. You can make a lot of that happen there, too. But definitely an interesting setup here. Cursed Hollow, that's one of the maps where Abathur really shines. And a double Grey main can be brutal. We have seen double Grey main comes with Ethereal, actually.
You are not prepared.
I love you,
Cheers,
sir.
Guys, thanks a lot for the support today. Cheers. But yeah, as I said, double Grey main with Ethereal.
loyalty is noted.
I'm Manio. Cheers, man. A double Grey main with Ethereal has been one of those builds that we've seen a lot. I mean, oftentimes you try to run it with an Illidan, and Illidan, of course, has obviously been banned out very early on, but still. Malfurion, keep in mind, we don't have a lot of healers left. Like, a lot of healers have been banned out already. And if you don't take Malfurion, who else are you going to take? You can claim a Morales. You can go for maybe, like, Brightwing. We have Lily still around, but Malfurion is right now the choice. And he can interrupt, of course, with Moonfire if he goes for Elune's Grace, just to give you a bit of an idea. Then he has that extra range, too, so he can easily interrupt whatever. It's got to be pretty sweet. But yeah, bans. Arthurs. Goodbye, my prince. It was nice knowing you, but you're not going to be part of this match anymore. And Brightwing, the support bands, they are there. Come on, lock it in, boys. Lock it in. The Cocks, they're going for a Brightwing ban right now. Let's see. Are they confirming it? To run a Brightwing would not be bad, and yes, there it is. So, what do you play? Teh89, if they want to have a double support, then it kind of has to be a Lily. Or Morales. That's it, right? Call me crazy, but I think that's the last two healers that we have. So that makes things a bit more difficult for them. Be it as it may, we still need damage. Li Ming, come on. It has to be a Li Ming. I mean, at this point, what else are you going to run? You have a Tyrande, who's amazing for interrupting tribute channels, but you want to run a Li Ming with this as well, at least in my opinion. Li Ming is just a little bit too good to really let her go here. There's a couple of heroes still.
Thank you
like
kindly.
This is so amazing. Show me some Cho'Gall.
Veno, thank you. Cho'Gall is a good point. I didn't even talk, like, not on Cursed. Don't get me wrong, he's not going to be played in Curse, but overall, he's actually a very good hero that we could see in these series, depending on the map. Good reminder, I slipped my mind. Oh, Thrall Li Ming? Is it going to be Thrall Li Ming? That would be a brilliant setup. ETC, Thrall, and Li Ming. They showed Vala for a second, and I completely agree with that too. Zeratul is also out there. No, they go for it. Alright, they go for the Zeratul. Abathur. Abathur is going to be hunted. Oh, poor Abby. This is like the moment even as an Abathur player, you look at the draft and you're like, oh my god, why me? First, Tyrande is shooting those owls everywhere, then she takes you, Zeratul tries to go in and goes in for the kill. That is already a pretty sweet draft. Okay, I'm loving it. So let's see. What are they gonna draft? I still want Liming. But with Zeratul, you can, with Zeratul and ETC, Vala makes a little bit more sense. Don't get me wrong, Liming is amazing, but if you actually go with Vala for Reign of Vengeance and you have not only the Void Prism but also the Mosh Pit to capitalize on, that is amazing. You can do so much with that. And that is what they are probably going to try and do here. Just simply use Reign of Vengeance and then with Vala just drop everything that is caught in the Mosh Pit or in the Void Prism. Yeah, the CrowingCocks on the other hand. Frontline. Didn't I tell you? Tyrael. Tyrael double Greymane. Jump in, Sanctification, and then you go full ham. And the damage output is amazing with this. So what's going to be the last pick? Are they using the Liming now? Liming is still there. They don't really have a lot of range damage. Greymane is going to try to stay in Worgen form. He's going to poke a little bit, of course, from the backline, but still, he wants to go Worgen form. And if you want to have another range damage hero, who else is available? Lunara, Liming, Reyna, Tychus. Don't really think we're going to see Tychus in this setup right now. I mean, he has been played, of course, but usually it's against like hit point heavy tanks where you want him.
Friend. Who needs supports? Just play Soldier 76 and wrong game capper.
Wow, low blow. Wait, what? Who needs range damage if you have Lily, right? They pick a Lily. I guess for odd attacks it's nice. Water Dragon as well. Ginge, by the way. Cheers, bro. But like, Lily? Malfurion Lily Abathur? What is happening? No Liming? What? Alright. I'll take it. I absolutely take it. Yeah. Teh89, last pick. Vikings! Yes, yes, yes! Vikings, baby! Alright, guys, like, look at this draft. Is that not a work of art? We have a Tyrael, Malfurion, Abathur, Lily with a Greymane. Guys, Cursed Hollow, the lead for Teh89 with a 2-1. Let's find out if the Cox can actually make it a 2-2 and force map number 5, or if this is going to be the last map of the series. We're going to jump straight into game number 4 on Cursed Hollow. Game number 4. We have a 2-1 lead for Teh89, everybody. And right now, BKB is again on ETC. It's a marvel that ETC was not banned out yet. Eternal is playing Zeratul, Remaballer on the Lost Vikings, Zarmony on Vala, and Gran Paquete is playing Tyrande. To the right side of the map, we have Celion playing for the Cox, and he's playing Lily. We have Sphyxion Abathur, Zilia on Greymane, the only real damage dealer for the team, Lunan on Malfurion, and Mopsio on Tyrael. Now, once again, if you actually like skipped a few games, if you just tuned in, then you might not really quite be familiar with the rules, and you're looking at this draft and you're like, what the hell is happening here? It's actually pretty simple. We're in game number 4 of a best of 5, and the rules are very easy to understand. Instead of banning heroes for the next map, you ban heroes for the entire best of 5 series. That means that going into the draft on map number 4, 12 heroes were already banned by default, and that leads to a very interesting draft, as you can already tell. For now, we have Lily going on level 1 into Conjurer's Pursuit. We're seeing at the same time Moonburn taken, Wolfheart for Greymane, the Vikings here with the Viking Bribery. And we are also seeing on the side of Vala going a bit into like a build just like showcasing the arrow here. So in this case, going for the Siphoning Arrow as a level 1 talent, Puncturing Arrow is going to be on 4. And besides that, we're seeing teams just like rotating right now. It's actually like a really interesting setup if you think about it. Traditionally, as the team that plays Abathur, you are already very well aware that you will have very small chances getting the early tribute. So if you get one of them, one of the first 3, that's usually like your goal, because then you can at least avoid a curse. The problem is that if you don't, like, the thing is, after level 10, you have the copy, and you can capitalize on that, and you have a 5th buddy in these fights. But before that, you have Abathur soaking on the other side of the map, but you only have 4 buddies fighting for the tribute. So usually your opponent is going to be able to get most of the tributes, and the idea is that you get a lead in experience as a result. But if you at least get 1 tribute, you can deny the curse to your opponent up to the point where you get at least the heroic ability on Abathur, and then you can all of a sudden fight with a copy and maybe turn things around. But the experience lead is going to be denied quite easily thanks to the Vikings counter-soaking a lot here. So it's going to be very rough for the red team, and they are already down in the series. So things are starting to become a little bit difficult for them. Selim is currently facing down to the bottom here, Eric, and you can tell how the Vikings are being played. Like, they are completely happy to take some damage on the structures here, because what they're basically saying is, I'm just going to sit behind the towers and I'm going to soak. You have a couple of ways of how you can actually play Lost Vikings. You can either try and push the waves in and get some damage done, or you can just simply sit behind the walls or like close to them and say, hey, experience is all that I need. If we take a bit more damage on the towers and they drain ammunition, that's fine. All that we need to do for now is play safe, and we have 4-men roaming the map. And that's more or less what we're seeing from Memorable again. Zarmany is already going straight for the camps here. He's actually the only one. The ideal tribute spawn would have been the bot lane for the red team. Lunan is actually going in. That's an interesting touch here already. Nice interrupt. They kind of need to fight this though. They want to really get that tribute since Abathar is on the opponent's side. They have a bit of an advantage going into these fights, especially since both lanes are currently being soaked on the side of the Lost Vikings. But the kill against Tyrande. Eternal, of course, is hoping for a chance to maybe jump in. We've been talking about his melee assassins already earlier. So far, he hasn't really been able to show them. On level 4, tribute taken by the Abathar team, by the way. Really important tribute for them now. They're definitely going to have a bit of an easier time until level 10 now. Mercenary Lord for the Vikings, and we're seeing the Vorpal Blades for Zeratul. Besides that, pretty much the standard talents. We're having Eyes in the Dark taken for Greymane. We have Elun's Grace for, of course, the spam. You're trying to just like have a bit of a range increase so that you can easier interrupt with Moonfire against tribute channels. Amplified Healing makes total sense considering that Tyrael in this game is going to be the only frontliner. Purge Evil, I actually could have seen him going into Regeneration Master here. Instead of that, he just goes for Purge Evil. Kind of preference, I suppose. And besides that, we have the Ballista Spores already taken. Global range, increased duration. Going to see the slow then later on as well. And the Venom Nests here for the extra damage on level 1. So not really going for any kind of like Locust push builds. Usually when you do that, you go at least for the level 1 talent. You could still see him with a bit of an adjustment then later on going into level 13 and 16. But I really doubt it. With Zeratul in the game, it kind of makes sense for him to just like try and support Zeratul in these fights. Level 7 is very close for both of them. And the Abathar players are, of course, going to try and soak a bit, but especially Abathar has to just deal with this camp that was stolen away, so that's a problem. There's a huge amount of pressure. Zeratul taken out at the top. That's really stuff that shouldn't really happen like this. Right now, Mopsio and his boys are doing solid work here. Nearly getting a kill against Vala now as well. Zarmany gets away, but another tribute is being channeled by Malfurion. And both of the teams are now on level 7, but it's actually the Abathar team that has 2 tributes already. The Viking team has a slight lead in experience thanks to the double soak on the lanes and to the camp that was taken as we saw everything begin here. But still, it's interesting to see that the blue team is struggling this hard. Their comp should, at least in the earlier stages, be pretty strong. One of the problems that they have is that they only have one pseudo support with Tyrande. Kill against Lily now, though. That might be the turnaround. They go for Lunan and Mopsio too, but both of them might just be able to escape. Now that's one of the issues here. It's a double support against the Tyrande as the only support. So the Lily team, or the Abathar team, has a lot more sustainability in these fights, especially since Abathar can of course help with a shield every now and then as well. It's not a massive deal, but it's still something that just adds to a situation that is already a bit annoying for them. Because that is the weakness of the blue team for sure, that they lack a bit of healing. They are currently only relying on Tyrande, and I actually think that it's very, very likely that they are going to run, in this case, on Tyrande. Oh, wait, first of all, Mopsio is starting to move in. Nice scout, by the way. Abathar with those mines is really on point. BKB is low, is trying to get away. Gets slowed down by the Abathar mine. Mopsio wants the kill, but is actually moving back. The boss is more important for now. We have once again the Wisdom Duelist taken, and they really need kills on Greymane. He's the only real damage dealer from the backline that can jump in as well. Zarmany is on the point. Here is the kill against Tyrael. Tyrael blows up, gets the damage in. Once again, Malfurion dies, Vala dies as well, but we can have another kill against Lily. And this is going to be boss for the blue team. What a play there. They are forced away. They get a quad kill and they get boss. They have level 10. Ground Bucket nearly dying to an Abathar mine, to a Toxic Nest. Now they can move in. But even with the double support, they just didn't have the sustain there. The damage output on Vala and also on the side of Zeratul is just a bit too much. And now we look at those level 10s. This is exactly the situation that we've been talking about during the draft. We see the Reign of Vengeance chosen on the side of Vala because she tries to capitalize on the mosh pit and the Void Prison with the damage, and at the same time, of course, it's Shadow Stalk on Tyrande. They need to use it. They can't go into a Starfall here, since she's the only healer. So they're playing Tyrande as a solo heal, basically the build of old, because they realize, hey, we have to do something here. That's also one of the reasons why we have a power on 1. Of course, it's great anyways with Pierce, since you're trying to get the cooldown reduction, but with Shadow Stalk, it's one of the main things here. Again, over here, Mopsio, oh, he's in trouble, and here comes, nice! The Sank, they screw up their ults a little bit. Void Prism is being used, Shadow Stalk now as well. Mosh Pit is in the kill against Tyrael. He's trying to explode. Grand Paquette, how is he not dead? How is Grand Paquette not dead? I didn't even see hit points there anymore. They kill BKB, but it's a triple kill against the red team already, and they don't stop there. They're trying to continue it. Sphyxie dies on the copy, and we have Celium just barely rushing away here. Abathur at the bot lane has been soaking quite a bit, but the blue team is really starting to capitalize on this. Early on, they were not able to get the tributes because the double support was just a bit too strong. Right now, on the other hand, they are getting their kills in. 8 kills against 4. Teh89 is in the lead right now, and Abathur is starting to really struggle to out-soak the Vikings here. I mean, of course, he's always in a position where he can soak 2 lanes as well. One with the body, the other one with his symbiote. But Remaballer is just like all over the place, and he's just farming. He's playing PvE most of the time here. There's no real need for him to jump into these fights just yet. The real strength of the Vikings, considering like team fights, comes after level 16 when you have an opportunity to simply go for the stun on Olaf. Then you're going to try and move in with the play again. We see it even, of course, every now and then before that happening, but so far, there's no real need for him to do a whole lot with that. So he's trying to soak as much as he can. Water Dragon has been chosen for Lili. They need damage. It makes sense, of course. Besides that, we have Mending Serpent and Lightning Serpent taken for Lili. And we're seeing Malfurion with Tranquility. Here comes again BKB rushing away. Abathur putting those mines down everywhere. But the Vikings are soaking, soaking, and soaking. And by now, we also have on the side of Vala going into the Frost Shot. Now, this is a talent that you can argue about a little bit. Oftentimes, when you're running with an arrow build, one of the reasons why you do it is because you're a bit more flexible on level 13. You can go into a Spell Shield if you want, for example. But their biggest threat is really that Greymane. And slowing him down and Tyrael down is like one of the big deals here. And if you actually have the copy on Greymane as well, and you slow both of them down, that's of course amazing. And that's what Frost Shot is really for. Tyrande not going into the Overflowing Light. Definitely an interesting choice if you think about it, since they only have one healer, but with Spin she is safer, and that matters of course as well. Here comes the play again, they're jumping in, Mosh Pit attempt once more, but the Tranquility, or sorry, the Sanctification is on the ground, Tranquility is active as well. Water Dragon, Eternal gets away, Celium is so low, he could actually fall as BKB slides in once again and tries to get the kill. Mopsio is being pushed back again, 1 kill against Greymane already, and oh, the Cox, they lose Tyrael. They might get the counter kill against ETC. No, Lunan. BKB slides in again. Oh my god, Lili and Lunan are both down. They just lack the damage. And now the red team is cursed as well. Abathur is currently like, I got this. Well, not quite, but I mean, he can try. They go for boss immediately. They say, hey, we have all that we need. The Vikings can soak in the meantime, so they're going to get an experience lead out of this as well. Once again, the Toxic Nest, of course, BKB saw it, moves in immediately, makes sure that this one is taken out. But just look at that damage output that we're seeing. Abathur with 30,000, I mean, overall, it's just like the damage potential that we have for the opponent. If you look at the raw numbers, by the way, that's of course a bit misleading. A lot of the damage that Tyrael dishes out here is from his explosions. A lot of the damage that you see from the other heroes is just not really forcing kills, and that's their problem. That they can force the kills. But this is great! They steal the cap away! I can't believe it! They actually know what? They don't only steal the boss, they steal the cap away as well. And it's like, screw you. There's still a fort that falls, and at the bot lane, they are about to suffer damage on the keep. But that was priceless. They all revive, and they're like, yeah, we're safe. I mean, we have like a talent lead any moment. We're 2 levels ahead. We go for boss, and it's all going to be fine. And all of a sudden, they're just jumping in. They have Tyrael, even with the Sanctification if need be. Jump on the point. Zeratul is low. They have to retreat. They don't have all of their heroics up. They lose ETC on the move back. That was absolutely brilliant. That actually worked. Guys, it's still a 3-level lead. I mean, yes, it was funny, but still, it's a 3-level lead that they're fighting against. So right now we have at the bot lane, once again, a boss about to be taken. This time by the red team, or at least they're trying to. 16 versus 13 talents, by the way. And it is actually a Bombard strain that we see on level 13 right now. So Abathur is going for a bit of a push setup, not going for a full support for there. Greymane once again, play again being used for the stun. Zelia is there, Sphyxie is about to lose the copy. Water Dragon is down, the boss with a stun attempt. Here's the mosh pit. Mosh pit is in, boss is there. They're both trying to get it. The Vikings are down, a few of them, Malfurion as well. Down goes Vala. Vala is down, they might actually win this. Here comes the Tyrael explosion with the damage. Celium is still alive, but ETC slides in and they are wiping everybody. This is once again a boss, this time actually like stolen from the red team. So yeah, the boss Clown Fiesta is real in this game. I am loving this. I have to admit though that the red team is actually able to make a lot more happen than I thought here. But it's largely because of the heals. I mean, look to the healing output here. 21,000 on Lily, 19,000 on Malfurion. Probably not quite as much as he would love to get out there. But that's more or less, it's not quite double as much as Tyrande gets out, but still. Tyrande is actually doing a pretty solid job keeping up with this. Like, a lot of cooldown reduction hits here with the Owl, a lot of heroics in. Lily, of course, did go into Water Dragon, so she's a bit more about the damage than anything else. And she's on a damage level the same as Zeratul. Whereas Zeratul, of course, is a lot more about like direct damage against certain heroes. Yeah, his cleave is AoE, but besides that, he's more about the single target damage, which is, of course, forcing kills. And this is really where the blue team currently excels, that they're able to force these kills. The keep is still alive, by the way, and level 16 is just around the corner now for the red teams. That will allow them to finally give Abathar, get him onto, with Locust Brood, onto the map as well. Maybe a little bit of push happening from them. We have also Tenacious Roots now taken. We're seeing the Blood for Blood, survivability for... This is actually interesting. Blood for Blood taken on level 16. I mean, survivability is going to be really good for Mopsio right now. Or like a lot better than it was before, which is really important for him. If you go for Holy Ground here, you can of course make a lot happen, but having survivability is absolutely key in this setup. So once again, Cursed, this time against the blue team though. The red team might have an option here to get a bit of momentum going. I love that they're going straight for the wall here. They don't even bother with the fort because they're saying, yeah, the fort is going to fall anyways. We need to get some pressure done behind it. But here comes that mosh pit. No interrupt. It's 3 heroes that are trapped, and as I said before, they capitalize on the mosh pit with Vala's Rain of Vengeance. Great kills here. Zeratul waits for the Void Prison. Down goes Malfurion. And even with the Curse, I mean, not only are they going to lose now a lot of their heroes, the Curse is not going to do anything for them anymore. They basically lost everybody with the exception of Greymane and Abathar. And that's a disaster for the Cox at this point. Teh89 is looking very solid. Of course, in this series, there's also a bit of prize money on the line. Again, it's a bit of a test of the format here, but there's still $100 on the line, and it looks so far as if the pizza money today goes to Teh89. Oh, BKB just barely doesn't see Sphyxie. They move to the bottom where they are trying to eliminate at least one of the keeps. The third one already jumping away, but still, the keep is not going to survive here. Everybody is just like pushing in, and Malfurion and Tyrael are not there yet. All they have to do is claim the keep and then move back. I highly doubt... They're trying to chase... I don't think they can make that happen. Level 20s are there now too. And with level 20s, we are going to see Hunter Swiftness. We have also now the Fury of the Storm, and that makes the Vikings even more vicious on lanes, since they can just simply take down waves super easily. Remaballer is pushing the entire game with his Mercenary Lord as well, which is of course fantastic for them. Rewind and the tour bus taken as they start to move in once again. We were looking at the Vikings, by the way. Currently 110,000 siege already. We're 15 minutes into the game, and this is looking pretty solid. When we look at experience, just to give you a bit of an idea, 36,000 soaked. Basically, he has been soaking 3 lanes the entire game. That's more or less what Remaballer did on the Vikings. He jumped into a couple of fights with play again, but besides that, he's been soaking constantly on 3 lanes. Abathar is not even close. Abathar is on 13,000, and I mean, of course, he was pushed back a lot in this game since his allies died, but still, it shows quite clearly how strong currently the presence on the map is for the blue team. And there's bosses up again, which can really help with this situation now too. So, at this point, bosses are potentially game-ending. Abathar is pushing the bot lanes. This is the lane that already lost the keep. Yeah, Mopsio here needs to be careful. Zelia's moving in. Oh, Mopsio jumps away, and that was a close call. That was really a close call. They see, by the way, that Greymane is there, but the boss is still being attacked here. Greymane is still waiting down here. Starting to move in. Water Dragon is being used. They root BKB. They try to go for it. BKB is low. Sphyxie with a copy on Greymane is starting to move in now too. Double Greymane. Once again, they're trying to run it. They need the heals though. Lunan is there. Here's the mosh pit. Tour Bus is moving in as well, and the Vikings, Zarmany is dropping out of the game. I'm not sure if it matters though. At this point, the pause is hitting just as we are seeing the Rain of Vengeance come in. Zarmany for T... Valabot! The Valabot with the Rain of Vengeance! Valabot is trying to hit the Rain of Vengeance here, and guys, this could actually hurt. Well, probably not. I mean, Zeratul is down, and so is ETC, so it's a really bad time for Vala to drop. And yeah, they already confirmed ETC at the start of the fight. Yeah, we kind of saw that. That's very unfortunate for the blue team. But right now, can he kill Zelia when he comes back? Maybe with Ramabola's help. Lunan has Tranquility up. This is going to be really close, but it looks more and more like Vala is going to die. Nothing else is going to happen. By the way, the middle of the map is currently also being pushed by one of the camps a little bit. So they seem to be ready, and let's see how this is going to work out. I think Vala is just going to fall, and that's about it. But yeah, a bit unfortunate. Okay. Bolt of the Storm jumps away. Ult has been used, but the Bolt helps. Yeah, okay, cool. So, in this case, everybody else is just like rushing away. They're going for a boss again. But level 21 versus level 19 right now. Huh? Maybe that disconnect is going to have a bit of an impact. But still, it's one keep lost against none. Boss, on the other hand, is going to be taken. There's no tribute that has been taken by any of these teams so far yet. So the tribute appearing on the map right now is not going to really have an impact. But of course, the double kill against Zeratul and ETC, that's a big deal. And those two are still down for another 20 seconds. Until they are back, they won't be able to make any plays. The Vikings are not really going to go for experience soak any longer. You have level 21 already. You really want to push lanes. Bot lane is pretty easy to push. Catapults are going to help you with that. But the rest, that's really where the Vikings are going to try and play their push game a little bit. But as you can tell, Ramabola is keeping them together a little bit more. And for good reason. I mean, that's really what they can do. The Owl is going to scout the attempt to go for boss number 2, and they can actually try to invade this. The Vikings are already moving in, so are Zeratul and ETC. Everybody is starting to move over. Void Prison is ready. They moved back. Alright. They could have tried. They could have actually tried. I mean, at this point, they could have had an opportunity to make that work, but right now they didn't really do that just yet. If you go in and drop the Void Prison or something, then that could definitely work for you. But right now, in this case, they just decided against it and said, like, alright, if we risk too much here and if we drop, then we might lose the game. If we actually just take it slow, defend against the boss, lose the wall, maybe then we're going to be completely alright. So yeah, this is exactly what's happening here. We're having, up at the top lane currently, Ramabola still getting one of the tributes. I mean, Abathur didn't really move in for that, and why would he? But down here now with both of the teams on level 20, let's see. Kung Fu Hustle, yeah, it is hustling again. Locust Nest taken, Hunter's Blunderbuss, Storm Shield, and a Hardened Shield now. And the boss is gonna go straight for one of those keeps. Now they have to stay alive. Teh89 is still in a decent spot. They might lose a keep here, but it's the bot lane. That's where they already took a keep down. They will just barely not save it. Close call though, but the Vikings are still very active up at the top. And now, I mean, even with a 10 death or 10 kill difference, but this is all about the next team fight. This is really all about the next team fight. At this point, like, no matter what happens, the next team fight could definitely decide things here. Mopsio, like, they are getting really aggressive right now. He jumps in immediately, doesn't even wait for the rest. There's, of course, always the thing that you have to watch out for Abathur, since he's very crucial right now in these fights, but they steal another one. Teh89, they know that they can lose this game. They know that they're in a situation where especially the Vikings can win it for them, though. The more that they just, like, can side out with the Vikings, the better for them. So they don't take any fights that they don't really have to. Push with the Vikings as much as they can. And in the meantime, they're just gonna try and do their things, stalling, buying a little bit of time there and waiting for an opportunity. If they don't like a fight, they just back up because they know that the Vikings can push hard. And I mean, you can tell at the top lane already. The Vikings are doing solid work, even with Sphyxia and Abathur trying to deal with it. Now we're having once again Lunan trying to go for the soak. Mopsio is trying to go deep. No holy ground on him. He has blood for blood. Keep that in mind. It's important since he can't zone them out as much as Tyrael normally does. Vikings still pushing the top. Balog is active there. And play again can be used. This is also tribute that you can let go. You don't have to take this tribute. Both of the teams have only one. Vikings, especially of course with the level 20 talent, with the Fury of the Storm, can make a lot work. Once again, Lunan with a channel. Mopsio is low. Mopsio is low. Mopsio is about to fall. Water Dragon being used. They're trying to turn it around. There is the Rain of Vengeance and a double hit. Great Void Prism in the backline. But ETC falls. The Owl to the face drops Greymane though. Greymane down, and Remaballer channels the tribute and gets it. Well done. Here's the copy on Greymane right now, about to run out, not going to get that kill, trying to put at least some damage in. But we have Greymane down, and that is a big blow against the red team. ETC dying, of course, is another big issue. But I love how we just saw that amazing ult on Vala, and then in the back line, immediately Zeratul reacting with a very good Void Prison, isolating the two heroes at the front and forcing the kill on Greymane. Really well done here. I'm loving it. It was exceptionally well coordinated here on their part. At the top lane, the wall completely gone, and you can really tell that Abathur has, he has his work cut out for him here. Remaballer is pushing this back, and Remaballer is at this point at 200,000 siege damage. 200,000. We have 136,000 Abathur, so he's not bad either, but I mean, he's nowhere near the numbers that the Vikings are currently putting on the board. Vala with 65,000 damage, 75,000 on Abathur. I mean, he's really making it work, especially in copy. But we have at the same time now, of course, tributes again on the map. And this time it is actually going to be a cursed tribute. This is going to be a cursed tribute if they get it. ETC is just now making his way back, so is Greymane. Mines, Toxic Nests, they're everywhere. Bot lane is being pressured. It's currently Eric is trying to take down the Siege Giants that have been captured a moment ago. Play again can still be used. Nice lockdown, stun combo against Mopsio. Mopsio is low. Mopsio's in trouble, but he gets away, gets healed. The double heal really giving them sustain in these fights that they need. Bot lane, play again, not used. Eric still there. They're going for a channel attempt again. Eternal just waiting in the bush. He's waiting for an opportunity. Maybe gets the damage against Greymane. Would be great for them if they can drop him low early on. Abathur has the copy up, but didn't use it just yet. At the top lane, there's a camp pushing for the blue team, and we have Balog in position as well. Eternal gets detected by a Toxic Nest, but once again, this is doing solid work. It's doing incredible damage against the Keep, thanks to Seasoned Marksman. Double channel for the Inter. Nice Remaballer with a good interrupt here. Yeah, it's exactly the time that they need. The Keep at the top lane is under pressure, guys. It's really under pressure. The Cogs need to be super careful here. They're trying to force something. They're trying to force a fight here because they realize they can't play this game. But look at this. We're having immediately the channel. It's going to be Curse. The Curse hits. Void Prison in the backline. But still a potential kill against Vala. Vala goes down. 4 versus 5 right now. They're all dashing away. The top lane is nearly killing the Keep, and this is going to fall. It's definitely going to fall. Thanks to the Curse, BKB moves away, and with 2 Keeps down, the situation is not improving for them. For the team in red, that is. Mid lane defended still. Bot lane, Remaballer was trying to push that as well. And this is the second Keep that has just fallen. Only the mid lane survives. But with one hero up there, attempting to go for the boss now. There's the play again. They try to move in. Abathur has the copy up. They go for Lunan. Lunan is low. Lunan with the Tranquility. Immediately using the Ice Block as well. Water Dragon is already up. BKB slides in against 4. BKB! What a mosh pit! Holy shit! He gets the perfect 2 of us off. But still no kill. Not enough damage behind it. Down they go. ETC and Vala are dead, and the Cogs are going for the boss and maybe even for victory. 24 minutes in, this boss is gonna go ham against the core. Vala back in only 2 seconds. If she would have been in this fight, she could have annihilated everyone. BKB gets the best case scenario mosh pit out there, but now it looks like we might see a 5th game between these two teams. Vikings are back. Vikings are immediately back because they need to help with the defense here, and that's not going to be easy at all. 27 seconds until ETC is back, and the Cogs, they know they have to do something now. They want to finish the game. They're going for it. They're really trying to. At this point, I mean, once again, Eternal is just like jumping in, trying to put the pressure on, but the boss is already on the core, and this guy is hitting hard. Here comes the Void Prison, isolating and trying to kill the heroes first. Celia is about to fall, rushes away. The kill against Lunan. The kill against Celia. It's too late. It's too late. We're going to see map 5. The explosion is going to take it. Not even that. GG. Well played. Really well done. And we've seen game number 5 coming up in just a moment between the Cogs and Teh89. Alright, guys. Kelthas doesn't have to be banned out anymore, Teh89. He's already banned. We saw him banned early on. Guys, we have a 5th map. I mean, what could be better than that? Look at all these heroes up at the top. They are already banned. Meta madness is real. I am so happy that we see a 5th map happening. It's Blackheart's Bay on top of it, and Teh89, they are saying, hey, ETC, Get that guy out of there. Like, they're vegetarians, they don't like beef. Keto, thank you very much for the sub, dude. And we have a ban on Zeratul. The 5th map. This is where things really start. This is where things get a little bit crazy. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do here. Because if they start banning out even more supports, then it's kind of over. Brightwing got banned. I mean, we have Tyrande around still, we have Malfurion, and we have Lily. And Morales. 4 heroes are remaining when it comes to supports. You could do some nasty things to your opponent, just like forcing them into certain areas. And that's probably what the Cox are currently thinking about. If they, in this case, now start banning a support over the potential Zagara Zeratul, they would really force the issue. But right now, Zagara is banned. So the bot lane on Blackheart Spear is already out as well. Teh89. Yeah, what's the first pick if all of those normal first picks are already banned? What do you first pick? A healer? Ah, Greymane is still there. Greymane and Li Ming, by the way. We could still
Your loyalty is noted.
Sarah, thanks for the sub, dude. Yeah, we haven't seen a Leoric yet either. Leoric has not been played yet. We have to change that. Greymane has been picked. And immediately CC goes for the Abathur pick. They're saying like, alright, listen up. Blackheart Spay, kind of like Abathur here in general, but if we see again a double Greymane, yeah, we probably don't want that. Keep in mind that they actually played the double Greymane in the last game, and right now they are trying to deny it to Teh89. So they go for an Abathur early on. I would personally really like to see something along the... Well, Vala is out there still. Thrall. How is he not banned yet? Thrall is taken, and we have an Abathur Thrall. That's already nasty. That's already a really good start. That is very, very solid. I wouldn't be too surprised to see something along the lines of a Lily once again, just to get the additional blinding wind against Thrall. I mean, thinking about supports, you could go Brightwing and polymorph him, of course, that would help too. But we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. Teh89, they also have to think about like the frontliner. As mentioned before, like Leoric is a thing. We could see Leoric. Arthas has been banned in the last rotation. ETC is already banned out.
Your
has been banned.
loyalty is noted.
Resus Pieces. Probably totally pronounced like the wrong way, but whatever. Thank you very much for the sub, bro. But yeah, this is gonna be like frontline is gonna be a fun move now. What do you actually take? That Tyrell is still there. Leoric is also out. Dehaka can be played. Dehaka isn't bad on Blackheart Spay. Vikings can actually be played here too. And they are really, really thinking hard on these. And so they should. It's the last game in the series. And this is going to be a fun one. I mean, there's a lot of potential picks right now. There's the Tyrael. Okay, frontline is already solved. Going for the Tyrael here. Do you go for a support now? Do you go for the Li Ming? Do you play the Viking? Oh, Chen, right. Chen is also still around. The Drunken Panda. That's another solid one. Double frontline now for them. That isn't too shabby, actually. Yeah? That is actually not too shabby at all. Okay. So, let's see. Bans. Are we going to see support bans again? What else would you ban here? Support would be great to ban it out. Like, there's still a couple of heroes that are very strong when it comes to, like, range damage. Lunara hasn't been played yet. Li Ming can still be taken. Vala is also there, so I don't really think that a ban there would do too much for you. You can really just like try to take a couple of the supports away. And that's what happens. With their Thrall play, they are trying to eliminate Lily. I can't really blame them for them. Water Dragon is very annoying with the slow and then the blinding wind as well. So yeah, that's a good ban here for CC. Lily being banned out, I like it. Then again, Teh89 with a ban, and on their part, they could try and limit the options again in supports. I doubt that they are going to do this, just simply because they don't have the next 2 picks. They go to the blue team. And it is an Artanis ban. Artanis is getting banned. Alright. Yeah, frontline. Still, Rexa, Leoric,
is noted.
Lolimbard. That's a German sub right there. See my point. So yeah, we could actually, come on, like, on Blackheart Spay, give me a Rexa. Just for the hell of it. A healer, yes, you need a healer too, of course. You banned Lily, you need to pick your heal now. Malfurion, if he's taken, who is still available? Tyrande is still available after that, and Morales, and I think that's it, right? Tyrande and Morales. Can they
Your loyalty is noted.
There we go. S95, the loyalty is... No! Oh, come on, give us Leoric. I mean, Stitches, hook into roots. not too bad either. They probably just browse through the heroes that are still there. And like, oh wait, Stitches, we can still take him. That would be probably not too bad. But I would like Leoric, I have to admit. Leoric with Abathur. Screw Thrall. I'm going to support Leoric. I'm going to support the dead dude. Looks like it's going to be Stitches. Looks like they're going to... Oh, Tychus! That would be a great choice. Yes, yes! Tychus against Chen. That's good. That's really good. Like, if you give Chen the D, then Tychus can do so much damage. Percentile damage is all that matters here. Teh89. They need a support. Is it going to be Morales, or are they really just like sticking it out with the Tyrande solo? I don't think that a Tyrande is really going to do the trick here. Yes, baby! It is Morales! Medic! And Sylvanas 2 for the last one. I'm loving it. Okay, that's cool. And what do we have for the last pick? Frontline. I would not... Well, Stitches with a hook against the Morales isn't too bad. Just not sure if he gets another, though. If you go for in 2
Your
with Leoric.
loyalty is noted.
Khaldor, thanks for the sub, my friend. I mean, Leoric is talking a lot about loyalty here so far, and nobody is really being loyal to Leoric, which I think is a little bit sad. So, Leoric would... Yes! Abathur Butcher! Fuck yeah. That's awesome. Abathur Butcher. And Morales is just sitting there as like, oh shit. Guess who he's going to attack? Abathur Butcher, boys. It's real. Like, have I promised too much? Meta madness. There it is. Right there. When was the last time you've seen a draft like this? Outside of NA, of course. Shots fired, sorry. Okay, so guys, last map, and we're going to go straight in. CC versus Teh89, map number 5. Let's jump straight into Blackheart's Bay. Game number 5, the final map, everybody. It is Teh89 versus the CrowingCocks, and we have, to the left, BKB on Chen, Zarmany on Sylvanas, Gran Paquete on Morales, the Remabola on Greymane, and Shwimpy is subbing in currently for Eternal, who unfortunately had provider problems and could not play the final game. Unfortunate situation, but thanks a lot to Shwimpy, who jumped in and is playing Teriel now for Teh89. To the right side of the map, on the other hand, the Cox with Celium on Abathur. We have Zelia on Tychus, Mopsio on the Butcher, Fresh Meat, Sphyxy on Thrall, and Lunan is playing Malfurion. The madness is real in the last game for sure. Already pressed the advantage being used here. And I mean, Tychus is going to try and get all of the percentage damage in, especially, of course, against someone like a Chen. We have at the same time now Morales in a situation where Gran Paquete is going to hate his life. Not only is there a Thrall with a potential Abathur against him, double Thrall could be a thing as well, but then the last pick where we all of a sudden see a Butcher instead of a frontliner. And that is of course brutal. I mean, at this point, you could see 2 of these guys charging onto you with a Ruthless Onslaught, and that would be the end of it, I suppose. Abathur is soaking the bot lane against Chen right now. So in terms of bot laners, there's not really a hero that can do too much if you want to keep Thrall in the rotations up at the top. He would be the only one who could really do something against Chen down there. But it's basically like a safe top chest, and Zelia is already just like zipping away at that chest. They're trying to go for the bot. Now Mopsio is isolated here, and he is down. That was a bit awkward there, kind of caught out of position a little bit. Was it apparently they're moving or trying to move down, and they got locked down there. BKB with 5 coins, so it's even split in coins at least thus far. Game number 5, of course, and that means that overall 20 heroes have been banned out for this particular game. We have on level 1 now Chop Meat taken, so that you get your meat stacks in a little bit faster than usual. At the same time, we're already seeing up to the top Shwimpy, Remaball, and Zarmany in position. We're seeing everybody else still trying to go for basically just wave clear. This is one of those maps where you usually would have seen a Zul, for example. Like Zul, Johanna, they're great when you really just try to rotate between 2 lanes and get the wave clear. But all of these heroes, of course, have been banned out already a lot earlier than that, and therefore no chance for it. Level 1 on Teriel, by the way. Shwimpy playing this a little bit different with a cooldown reduction. He went straight into the Heroic Reforging, which helps him with the Eldruin Smite, so he gets the cooldowns reduced quite significantly. The cool thing about Thrall and also Mopsio's Butcher is, of course, that they are both very solid when it comes to just taking down a few of those camps and getting the coins here. So that's going to be incredibly important here for the game. And, I mean, let's not forget that Blackheart's Bay is actually one of the maps where you oftentimes just simply try to play the objective and don't really force too many team fights. Zomni can, of course, always make some plays. Yeah, I love that Grand Paquete is currently playing Morales here. I haven't seen Morales in a long time. We see, again, Eyes in the Dark taken here, and, of course, automatic block also on the side of Morales right now. Besides that, swift reflexes for Chen after the grounding. Brew not going for the Regeneration Master. And for Sylvanas, we're seeing Paralysis and the Withering Barrage. And she's already trying to put that Paralysis to some good use, pushing pressure onto the structures in the middle. Mopsio is there, Ruthless Onslaught, and Grand Paquete gets rooted and is able... No, he's not able to escape. Is taken down. Yeah, that's the problem. If you trail behind just once against Butcher, then you are just fresh meat. The problem is going to be a big one for Paquete. He needs to be incredibly careful there. We see now the bigger they are on the side of Tychus, that's going to be a very important one because like those 4 extra % are just absolutely crucial when you try to deal with the Chen. Cheap shot also taken right now, so that's going to be pretty awesome, especially if you have slows. And I mean, we're talking root here. So Ruthless Onslaught is going to be used by by the Butcher, then the roots on the side of Malfurion for the additional slows. And I mean, in theory, he could even go for the slow on his Moonfire then later on in the game. So there's quite a couple of options of what they can do. Already the attempt to go in. Yeah, well, Cleanse for Grand Paquete is also going to be an important part to make sure that Mopsio is not going to rip the front or backline apart. Like Grand Paquete himself, he needs... Like, he's really the key player right now on the side of Teh89. There's no doubt about it. If he has great positioning, then he might be able to survive in these battles. And if he does, then they might win this. Because, let's face it, the red team is going to try and focus Morales every single time. I mean, it's of course a Reddit meme. It's a joke. Like, focus Morales, oftentimes it's really the wrong thing to do. But with this particular setup here, Morales is going to be a prime target. That's definitely a given. At this point, we're having... keep in mind that on this map, of course, when you start to take or push damage on your opponents mid-structures, the first turn is going to be absolutely fantastic, just simply because you can take down the first fort with the objective. We have no mule taken. I could have definitely seen that on Abathur. Schwimpy is low, jumps away, gets healed, Ruthless Onslaught activated and cancelled. High cooldown here now on Mopsio. He was trying to use that, but at the same time, Schwimpy was already able to get away. And this is actually like a very cool early game that we are seeing here. It's a little bit more cautious than I thought it would be. But nice pressure play from Teh89. They're playing a very controlled match so far. 1 kill against 1 kill. Level 7 for both teams. Frostwolf's Grace. No, yeah, here comes the on-charge again. Onslaught on Schwimpy. He gets away. The kill against Mopsio. Again, they get the coins. They go for Celia. It's a double kill. It's a triple kill. And Sphinxy could make it for. Abathur is there, but they definitely overestimated their position here a bit. Not even a level 7 talent taken yet on the side of the Butcher. And well, that was that. 20 coins now in the hands of the blue team. They wait with the turn-in until the gate is taken. I like that. So they wait with the turn-in. BKB is in the middle and turns in as the gate falls. The more structures you actually take down by like manually without the objective, the more devastating the objective is going to be for your opponent. So really well done here. We're seeing already Rema Baller here in position up at the top. 7 coins still on him. And Schwimpy here on Zamni. Now once again, keep in mind, Schwimpy is subbing in for Eternal, who unfortunately had provider problems for the last map. And this is a bit unfortunate, but still he's a very good sub player for them. They have a 1.5 level lead already, and they're playing a very solid game here. Grand Paquete and Rema Baller currently still looking here in the mid lane. We have the barrel now on Chen, already claimed. I mean, the dream is, of course, to barrel an Abathur straight into the towers. That's like the dream. That happens like every now and then, but yeah, that would be pretty cool. That's what BKB is hoping for, but I highly doubt that he's going to get that. Mopsio is back on 4 coins, as he was already doing a pretty decent job getting another couple of camps here. But the bot lane, we'll have to see how that's going to work out. Sanctification, go for the throat. We have the Stim Drone and the Wailing Arrow for Sylvanas. And Sylvanas is actually another hero that's going to be very crucial for these team fights. We've been talking about the survivability of Grand Paquete on Morales, but especially the Wailing Arrow can definitely be one of those saving graces that they have here. It can be the difference between life or death for the team for sure. So now at the bot lane, Chen is still there. Mopsio won't be able to do too much. Talking talents, he took on level 7. There's the barrel, straight into the towers. Mopsio did not realize how many of the opponents were there. He's getting barreled into the ground. Celium is attempting to go for a copy. Ah, that wasn't wasted, old. 4 coins gone. The kill against the Butcher. This is not boding well for them. Lamb to the slaughter has been taken. Dragon laser drill. We're seeing Tranquility, and for now also the quarterback. As well as the brutal strike here. But things are not looking pretty on the side of the red team. The CrowingCocks are in a lot of trouble right now. And right now we are having another fort eliminated. Well, maybe they could have timed that particular turn in a little bit better. That's a lot of shots wasted. Up at the top lane, BKB with 8 coins is under pressure. Lunan is not getting close enough for a good route though, and the well was still up too. So that was definitely a good escape from BKB. You have Celium taking position here with Abathur, but they're not even thinking about moving back. With the Sylvanas in their midst, they're simply saying, hey, we're going to push that bot lane until they finally move back. There's already BKB trying to interrupt Lunan from portaling back. The wall has been taken, and level 13 is now ready as well. Once again, Mobsio cancelling the onslaught since he realizes that he would be very much alone. Nobody else was even close. And at this point, we're seeing not only the couple's therapy, but we also have Unfettered Assault, Imposing Will, and we're seeing the Will of the Forsaken. All well on the side of Teh89. They're actually running a very tight ship here, and so far they have 5 kills against 1, which is of course absolutely fantastic for them. Shrimpy is already in position here. We have Lunan and Zelia just like waiting to maybe get finally a kill in for their own team. But in the meantime, there's still experience being soaked in the mid and at the top lane since BKB has rotated between both of them. So now camps taken all over the place. And that means that once again we have a surplus in coins on the side of Teh89. They're already looking at additional 15 coins. And that's an entire turn for them. They are trying to make that happen. They have the talent advantage, but it looks like the Cox are attempting to make a fight here. Celium is there. Onslaught. They go for Morales. They go for Morales. Focus Morales, but there's the barrel, and Mobsio is about to fall. He is down. Tranquility a bit too late. Finally coming in. The copy is gone as well. And well, this is why Focus Morales is oftentimes a bad idea. Great. Like, I love the protections though. Grand Paquette, as I said, like he is definitely key in this case. And so far, we are seeing a fantastic play from Teh89, making sure that Morales, when focused, is not falling. Of course, if Morales goes down, then it's really a big problem. But at this point, it's a fantastic spot for Teh89 to be in. They're looking very strong here right now. And once again, we're seeing chests appear on the map. And this is like the worst case scenario for the CrowingCocks. They have a huge problem now getting these coins. And it's another camp that's now being taken too. The middle of the map is already being attacked by the cannon barrage, and that is going to put pressure onto the keep itself. Up here at the top, Zelia is at least going to steal the coins away from BKB. He himself is the one who's really supposed to do most of the damage against, well, Chen in particular. Already at 22,000 damage. That's, by the way, the top damage in the game. But we have a nice trap already set, but so far, nobody's really falling for it. The thing is that Tychus is also split from the rest of the team. They're trying to move in. Here comes the copy again. Mobsio is immediately being focused. There's no burst heal. The big problem is that there is no Karazim. There is no, like I don't know, Rhaegar or Uther. So they just burst Butcher down. They just say like, oh, we don't care, we're just taking apart. And that is a quad kill right there. What a pressure play. And they are going to try and finish the game. Now they have level 16 talents as well. Teh89, they make it happen, and they are going to win this, are they? Looks very much like it. Even with the heroes reviving, they should have all that they need to end the game. Amazing play here in our first best of 5 series. Teh89, they claim the first Meta Madness show match with a 3-2 over the CrowingCocks. Well played here, good job, and congratulations to Teh89.